Welcome one and all to Dreamworks Dungeons & Dragons. I am your Dungeon Master, August Schmid, and of course we have our wonderful members of the Mountain Group are assembled. In no particular order, of course, we have Nick as Bob the Tomato, we have Mason as Moses, we have Megan playing as Tulio, Hannah playing as Elizabeth, and of course we have Marissa as Chell with Lonnie as Miguel. Lonnie, unfortunately, not being able to make it. Mercy here in a little bit. Crazy stuff, of course. Finding out a bigger revelation about things such as changelings with Chief Tani's son, Taruka, who, while being killed by Gabriel, he helped portal you over to a different party after an encounter with a lot of vampires and chasing down this changeling named Shen. The changeling was finally caught thanks to your eagle eyes and powers, and has offered, of course, in exchange for his life, to help lead you through Shadowfell to the children that have been taken. A major thing, being Shadowfell, very dangerous, but your best shot is with the changeling, as well as there's a lot you could learn still about what this operation, who's been affected, as indeed the rumors of changelings have been slowly spreading to other parties, and we're not sure who could be real or not. The last we saw it, you guys were able... Is that me? Yeah, sorry. Sorry. You guys have just finished up. You have Shen in custody. He is bound. You can gag him if you want, but for now, he's just open-beaked. Maybe is the right verb. This is a peacock, to be fair.
Does anybody... I understand what we're not that. 7.
Come on. Hey, Hannah, are you level 15 and not telling me? Hey, wait a second.
I was like, are we 5? I was like, no, we're not 5.
I see, yeah.
But I want to say, does anybody have any spells about, like, find him? I know we did, like, a lot of cool stuff.
We did the, what was it, mending on the rope?
You did mending to make it, that's gonna give a big advantage in helping
keep him.
Is there anything
else we can do to, like, hold creature? I mean, I know those are, like...
The best I have is one monster.
And technically, he's a changeling, not a monster. It's a weird, according to D&D's definition.
What is he? Like, categorically?
Categorically, he's a humanoid.
Okay.
Technically. It's really just a cosmetic thing. I mean, does he act monstrously? Kind of, as a changeling. It's not great to lie to people and try to overthrow things. Miguel, as I'll be helping kind of DMPC Miguel, finally not being here, does have some spell work, but nothing major that would probably... oh my gosh, no. Miguel's got some crazy stuff. Oh, no, never mind. Different thing. Yeah, Miguel has, like, command, but that's gonna help for, like, quick things. Maybe not command. So, I mean, between the two...
Does she have some sort of, like, bonus action she can keep doing it thing, though?
It should be the mantle she can do for the command, too. So it's that, like, those are some quick... If Bob and Miguel need to, like, quick command, like, stop, grovel, like, stop him is probably the best stuff right now.
What would cooperate get us?
Cooperate? Yeah, for a round or so, 6 to 12 seconds of, like, I'll cooperate, but if you can make the save is also part of that.
Right.
So...
Zone of Truth. I believe I do, but let me double check. Yep, I'm Zone of Truth.
Zone of Truth. Yeah, if you ever want to, like, make sure...
I
know, it's always that, like, when you're a marshal, it's like, I hit things for people. I can't, like, magic. Thumbelina had so many spells. It was that wild, like,
Thumbelina was so fun.
dole them out.
So much fun, though.
Crazy.
Okay.
No, you're kidding. Super fun.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
If we command him to sleep, is there any... Does he wake up after one round? Or does he just stay asleep like you normally would?
No, you could stay asleep. It's just, it's not as great as, like, the sleep spell, where it's like, oh, you're at enough. It's very assured, because it's still that he'd have to make the saves.
Yeah.
But that could be a very helpful, like, sleep, because as long as he's not taking damage or anyone actively wakes him up, so it might be better if someone has a command, like, lie down and then a command sleep, because you could command sleep and he smacks his face into the concrete and goes, oh, well, that sucked. Yeah. But that is an option of, like, there's that combo there of, like, okay, we can put him to sleep through a command of, like, hey, go to bed.
It's
fun, yeah.
I was like, I'm in a different spot than I
This is kind of cool, yeah.
I'm so sorry, August. I'm so
No, you're
off
good.
track today, and I will apologize, because it
I
makes
feel
it worse.
I feel it. With this going on, of course, you have a chance at Ilvanor. Oh wait, no, Moses, you should still have Tree Stride because Gabriel helped bring you guys here.
Did we want to take a long rest before?
Exactly,
Oh,
before
we
you
probably
go
should take a long
over.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm like down to my last two spells.
And the Moon Party, the Peacekeepers as they call themselves, can get you guys rooms. Like, so it's not like, oh shoot, we don't have money. They're willing to like. Apparently, they know the queen of this country. Foot the bill so you guys can go to basically any inn or tavern you need to. Any inn or tavern. It's that like, hey, you guys helped out, saved this country, took care of a vampire problem and a changeling. Like, they're willing to help. Because, I mean, it was only going to be the night, really, if you needed it. There is a really nice inn nearby that you could hear about. It's called the Snowball Inn. This is like a high Nordic country, so it's like, okay, the Snowball.
Your finest room, please.
Walking in Snowball, you see a hassled-looking elven man comes over. Hello, welcome, yes, to the Snowball. Sorry, under new management. One room, because he's kind of counting, like, Bob, realizing you're small, but there's some... how many rooms are you in need of?
12.
We really only have a few
He's joking.
silhouettes.
He's joking. 2?
Ignore the tomato.
Girls and guys? Yeah, we can do 2.
Yeah.
Because, like, you and Shell... Because then it's also, like, keeping Shen in a room with maybe more people then can be that, like, Tulio, Miguel, Moses, Bob, and then Shen to, like, watch.
Yeah. And one of all the guys can keep watch on Shen.
Because that way you can all take a long rest, but we don't have to be like, so who's keeping watch? Yeah. In which case, I'll allow you all to hit the long rest button on D&D Beyond and the other ways you're keeping track of that. Because indeed, easy enough, using the note you were given from the Peacekeepers, the bill is footed, you don't have to worry about that tonight. All of you head off to sleep.
I have a question.
Yeah.
And maybe it's too late for this now, but is there any way to like take care of the lingering wounds with the other party here if they have a different advanced healing?
They have, again, they do have a level 7 cleric with
cleric.
Gingy.
So
Yeah.
could we like maybe take care of lingering wounds so you guys don't have to keep doing
Doesn't she have like a mass cure wounds or something?
I think she
And I swear she
does.
a bunch of
Because I will allow that. I did like a similar thing for that party of like, again, party synergy across. Let me quickly check because I just need to make sure if some of the lingering wounds might need even higher healing than this cleric
Because
has.
didn't Gingy canonically give Bob a gumdrop already?
Yes. Giving you a gumdrop. This is a one-time cure wounds whenever you want it. Because also, I did the flavor of you gave her a bardic, you don't have to mark it down. Of like, here's a tomato leaf bardic, and she's like, here's a gumdrop cure wounds.
We were about to like crash into the rock
Actually,
Strasbourg, and that bardic saved our butts.
Because that party headed off to the Vikings and almost died.
To be fair, it was like a 35 DC or something.
Well, because it's Burke. Sailing into Burke without a dragon or prior knowledge is very hard to do. Yeah, I think I'm just double checking some of the lingering wounds you guys have. Because I think you should be able to heal a couple of them.
Cure wounds.
It's a cure wounds.
Okay.
So it's very much, you have to either be for yourself or someone else that you can get to. But all of that should be well and dandy. Tulio, you are only suffering from the rib, same as Altivo, correct?
I think I also had a minor concussion. Let me double check how long that lasted, though.
That's the, yeah, I think the concussions...
Is that done?
Minor concussion if you receive magical healing. Broken ribs, you need... So the ribs are the more intense magic that unfortunately even Gingy doesn't have. But your concussion can be healed thanks to the gingerbread man. Gingy will give you a little cup of hot chocolate and your concussion heals up instantly.
So I'm assuming Altivo cannot be moved.
Yes, unfortunately those rib things with Altivo is
Where do
really...
we find a freaking cleric that's higher than level 7?
I know, right?
Need a magical vet for a horse.
We could search for one if we wanted to.
That is, yeah, if you're tree striding out that, like, hey, what if we go somewhere to, like, really try to find a cleric? Because, I mean...
I feel... sorry.
No, you're good. I'm doing a mental calculation of all the major cities you guys have either been to or know of, because you got a big
I
list.
feel like
Far, Far Away, Egypt, El Dorado. None of you guys have any ties or access to China, unfortunately. You have been to places in Spain like Del Mar. Firebend's a pretty big city, but not big enough where we started. Yeah, there's a couple bigger cities you guys could go to. Some obviously would require a bit of laying low, but still looking around.
Yeah, no, we go straight to Barcelona.
Straight to Barcelona, yeah, right.
I would like to not go to Far Far Away, just when I have gone out there because of.
Oh, but there's freaking lore there.
I have lore.
Just the other party that he had today went there and found some stuff out that I'm like, oh, if only our party.
Only your party. There's so many campaigns where people would be like, oh yeah, this prophet did something. And this party's like, oh, if only we could be with Moses. I'm like, you will be. Getting this long rest in, something will happen though during the night. It is that odd, like, heavy fur blankets. I mean, going from, you guys have been in a lot of very warm climates. Ilvanor is approximately that very Switzerland up to the Nordic countries up there. So it's spring is still freezing cold. There's a lot of ice and frost everywhere. During the night, Moses, you're gonna have a bit of a visitor. Same with Bob the Tomato. To start, Moses, not physically, but you have a dream or a vision, as one could say. Standing in your home, back in the mountains where you met Zipporah, living there in this tent, you look around in this dream, realizing quickly, like, things aren't adding up. Like, yes, this is my home, but I don't remember these tents or buildings, and wait a second, you look up, there are no stars in the night sky. It's like, oh, I'm dreaming. But you will hear a voice. Moses.
Behold, here am I.
You turn and see Michael standing before you. Welcome, Moses.
Has the thing happened yet?
You see, Moses, I have need of you.
What do you request?
As we go about God's mission in breaking the seals, we have reached a problem. There is the next seal holder who carries the seal of Merlin, who has become hidden from us.
Alright.
We believe someone has used magics or other forms of witchcraft to place this seal holder away. Simply, we wish you as the prophet to seek divine help. You realize, again, from your last conversation, some of the stuff you've heard from Gabriel, Michael is very much leading into that, like, are you more in tune with God? Or, like, there's a bit of that passive insight in history you're kind of getting. But Michael seems still to be holding something back. Your passive insight isn't high enough for something else he's kind of talking about here.
Okay.
As he goes, seek out the seal holder as they hold the fourth seal. And therefore, as he gestures, and you suddenly realize you have the staff. You didn't think you had it before in this dream. As then the fifth seal will be ready. And then we truly can begin our search.
Alright, Michael. I will do what I can.
Excellent. As this happens, we cut to a different dream again. As these shifts are happening, people sleeping. Bob, you lie there in better sleep than you've had, as maybe it was your conversation with this gingerbread man and talking about Uriel or the Muffin Man, and some things are sticking out. How the gingerbread man was saying how they speak with Uriel frequently, and how when you brought up, well, Uriel told me not to contact Gingy, seems to still have somewhat of contact. It would seem very odd, and so maybe it's not sitting right, or maybe it's lingering in your mind, you know, how your mind kind of gives you these impressions. But suddenly you find yourself back in the garden, back in this home that your memories kind of serve, but there's still much that your mind is making for you. You know, like other vegetarians, when you're put out into the world, you don't remember much upon leaving, and there's still stuff that you have to fill in. But you don't think this is a vision yet. More of a memory.
Do I have control of myself? Like,
You
can I
do.
change this memory into a vision?
This isn't like Moses's. Yeah, this is more of a memory or vision. You have more control here.
I'll try and call out.
Who would you call out for? Or just Uriel. As you speak out for Uriel, in your mind you hear, "Ah, is that Robert the Tomato?"
It is.
Turning, you see on his hands and knees in the soil, in a fun little apron with different tools in the belt, Uriel stands wiping his hands, kind of brushing dirt out of that very white platinum hair. "What can I do for you, my small friend?"
I met Gingy.
Gingy? Who is a Gingy?
Do you know the Muffin Man?
Oh, don't think I've met a Muffin Man. And you see Uriel stomps. "Did I not make you right yet? You seem odd." As Uriel
Do I
pulls
notice
out.
anything about myself that's odd?
You look down. You feel very in control of yourself as Uriel kind of picks you up. And did you always have your stem still attached? You realize you're kind of attached to something just in that link. "Let's get you some more nutrients." As he pulls out a small trowel and kind of digs some dirt, places you in the dirt, which at first you think, well, that's not good for tomatoes. I'm a vine creature. And yet in the dirt you feel a warmth and glow as he kind of scrapes the trowel to nestle you into the dirt here. And pulls out a small little watering can. And as he pours over, soft droplets of celestial warmth drop onto you, and you feel so much more alive and so much more sentient. You see the world in sharper color and vision. Was there always 7 colors? Why not just the first 3? As Uriel softly, "How is that, my friend?"
Feels much better.
"Oh, perfect. I have high hopes for you." As he says this, you hear a different voice. Now, here's why I have to ask Bob, do you speak Primordial? I know, it's always that, whenever it comes to language, it's like, crap, now I have to pull through the full character sheet, because that's just D&D.
Primordial?
Primordial. It's an old language, yeah.
No. Oh, yeah, I do,
You
actually.
do?
Yeah!
That's
I did not
incredible.
know that.
Celestial, common, and primordial.
Oh
That's
my gosh,
amazing.
you love to see it. You will understand Uriel. Uriel. As Uriel stops, the smile immediately is gone from his face. "Yes, Father." As he kind of pushes you away, not in a mean way, before he leaves, you just hear that, "Uriel, it is time. Prepare your tools for the binding." As Uriel's tools, your eyes flicker. Are you still in the garden? Or this seems dark. Everything seems much evil. His tools, what once were soft, look like butcher's tools. Cleavers, grinders, things at his belt. Suddenly the dirt looks more like blood. Uriel looks darker, harsher. The lines on his face creased from maybe war. As you hear him say back in Primordial, "Yes, Father. I will bind Lucifer." As you hear, "It is only what Lucifer has sought from his rebellion of me." And as Uriel stands, you look, you are in a potted plant. You're realizing now that that is real. You have your stem. As this memory has faded back in, Uriel stands, kind of gives a look at you, pulls a quick tool from his pouch, and snips your stem. And you see a look in his eyes. Maybe he doesn't realize yet why he just did this. As in the dirt, he stops, puts the tool away quickly. Go. As he places his hand on you, Bob, your memory stops as you wake up with a start. Tulio shaking you, kind of wake maybe for your turn on watch. As whatever memory just came back is not perfect yet, and something is odd with it.
The timeline is on. So many questions.
Elizabeth.
How old are you?
Ooh, someone's trying to call me that I can't answer right now.
Sun-dried tomato?
Elizabeth, you will also have a bit of a visitor in the night.
Oh, was that who just called you? Should I go answer?
Yes, but why are you also getting... Yeah, if you want to call. Thanks. Sorry, dear. Family stuff, I think, then.
Yes, he is.
I can talk if we need to take a break, but okay. I hope it's not important, otherwise I'm going to feel really bad. Elizabeth, as you drift off to sleep, again, you and Shell have this other room. You have a more chance to have a full long rest. You don't have to take a watch, thankfully, with Shen. But as you sleep, your mind has taken you back to the Castle Grayskull, to the broken world you saw before you, and you hear something. Here.
It's like...
Hello. How can I help?
It's a good thing.
Oh, okay.
But it's that, like, we gotta talk about this now, because she's, like, doing stuff now.
Is it Eleanor?
No, it's his mom.
Oh, okay.
Did I miss anything good?
No, I'm having a dream.
So we're all on dreams. No, because my thing about you, it's the whole, like...
William went through four sheets of stickers today.
One of my big questions, it's, like, how literal that timeline was, or if it's not.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you're that old and, like, nothing else happened to you later, then where did the whole, like, stolen grace thing come in? Because that was in the last, like, 20 years. That was not beginning of time binding with Lucifer. Like, Uriel didn't have that yet. So it's like, but he was canonically, like, using it for at least some of the Mesopotamians and, like, Gingy, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's the lore that we have. Anyway, so it's like, I have questions.
Doesn't time run differently there?
Probably, like, time is, who knows, with the angels involved and
Yeah.
different planes of existence. That's fair.
Especially back in Eden.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We went to the Garden of Eden last weekend.
There's a place called Eden, Idaho.
Oh, that's right. You guys sent us the pictures. That was so funny.
Gas station there is decorated like the Garden of Eden.
That's awesome.
Like
Apparently it was way cooler when they were kids. 'Cause
Yeah.
They remodeled.
they like actually had like actual trees and vines and
But they definitely had a
animals.
lot of snakes.
They had,
And like in the bathrooms they had quotes like
why did God create Adam before Eve? Because he didn't want Eve telling him how to create Adam.
and like in the women's bathroom was always like, why did Adam create Eve? It's like because God knew Adam wouldn't pull over against her directions. Something like that. It was really funny.
Yeah. That's fine.
Curious to see what your dream's gonna be.
I
Yeah.
know. Okay, remind me, Grayskull was
Wasn't
that?
that in the Garden of
That was like the old
Yeah.
castle keep that was in the Garden of Eden.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was
And
like,
that's where She-Ra and like He-Man get their powers.
gotcha. Okay, because I was sitting there going, is this in my
Which is like,
castle?
Elle had the whole red string theory the other day where she's like, is this why I can't do She-Ra right now? Because like the Garden of Eden just got like destroyed.
I forgot to tell you guys that the Garden of Eden completely got destroyed.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
unfortunate news for Bob.
I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you.
It would be really cool though
Hmm.
if August introduced He-Man's power sword and Moses got it. Which I know He-Man
Where
also is in Dreamworks.
No, I have questions now though, because technically that then makes it lore. But then whose sword did he get if Eve got Michael's?
Yeah.
Right? Like what sword is that? It can't be Raphael's because somebody has that already. Gus has that, so.
Is it bad and I really want to hunt down Elle just to take her sword?
Is it Eleanor to take her sword? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
I will tell you, she's very protective of that sword.
Yeah.
I mean, I almost got that sword. And
Just
she was
if you're
not happy
prepared to
about
make
that.
Eleanor cry, then go for it.
Oh,
Because I guarantee you 100% she will
would.
cry
And
if you
then-
take
and
it.
then
I made her cry.
And she didn't even like take it.
I didn't even take it because what happened is because I was under oath to do the job.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
she had a little
Eleanor
roll thing.
was under oath, sort of, from the angels to do the job.
Yes! Okay. We I only heard like half the conversation, but it sounds like we might be getting a second card.
That would be so nice.
It was just like, because I asked the phone and Kathy's just like, hey, if you theoretically had a second card, could you guys like park it at your apartment stuff? And I'm like, yeah. And so she's like, I need to talk to August right now before I like leave Utah. So I'm like, okay.
Wow. That would be
Oh,
really
if you
nice.
guys got his grandparents' card,
I don't
is
think
that
it's
the
the
thing?
grandparents because she's visiting her mom right now because she's very ill,
Oh,
and so it's that she's staying with her like brother and his wife, and so like some family probably
Yeah.
is getting shuffled around.
Because there's something like this.
That would be very nice, especially because like he just got a job as well, and so we'll both like be going places but at different times, and so like
Yeah.
this should help
He
with
got
work.
a job?
Oh, he got like 2 job offers last year.
Yeah.
Complete drought, and then suddenly it rains. So he got like a lighting job to do this like landscaping thing about like, oh, we're
Doing
gonna
Christmas
put up
lights.
Christmas lights and stuff. And he
Oh,
did
it's
like 2
very
days of that.
seasonal.
And so he did like 2 days of that, and they were like, remember, you're gonna hate it when it's ice and snow on the
1,000
roofs because
times
it's
worse.
mostly outside work. And then like he got this like caretaker position where it's, you know, like visiting homes of like elderly people that don't want to like live in care homes. It's not like having people come in. So it's like,
so
yeah.
I sell to
Yeah,
those
Nick sells to
companies.
those companies. Yeah,
So
we're very
he's
familiar.
like, I'm gonna do this one instead. So he starts training for that on Wednesday.
Oh, that's
Nice.
Congratulations!
Yeah,
That's
we're
awesome.
super happy.
That would be really nice having a second car, especially
Yeah.
going.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What company is he working for?
It was one of the ones that has like something about angels in their title.
Visiting Angels?
I think Visiting
Okay.
Angels, yeah.
That's a chain that's like nationwide.
Yeah, they're like everywhere, yeah. So it's one of their branches. It
Nice.
sounds like he's going into IF for their training, but then they probably have like local people in Rexburg that he'll be working
Yeah.
with more after that.
That's so
awesome.
exciting.
That's
So
awesome.
this is how like the weird conversations about family planning is coming up, I'm sure, that you just mentioned.
Not even that.
No?
It was between like conference stuff and temple stuff and August just being ADHD and TikTok stuff. Like it's just like randomly different times.
Oh yeah, it's also that everyone seems to be having a baby too. So like
Yeah, it's like
We're talking about babies.
Oh, great.
Melissa's been like every now and then she'll have like little flare-ups of baby hungry.
oh my gosh, that's August. Honestly, he's been more baby hungry than I have consistently
Alright.
throughout our
we're
marriage.
not talking about babies over here.
No, I know.
So are we getting
We
a
have
second
one.
part? Is that what's happening?
Yeah.
Awesome.
My aunt and uncle are like, yeah, we're selling this Suburban. And my mom's like, wait a second.
Oh, that would be very nice.
Because yeah, fun fact, I just got a job with a caregiver in
Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
telling them.
Just
That's what
sold
they told
us.
us.
So I've sold stuff to like 4 or 5 visiting angels locations.
So wait, if you're
Yeah,
working in
that's
Idaho
awesome.
Falls and you're working in Idaho Falls,
Well,
Well, it's just for like this week, and then he'll be traveling to different homes.
Yeah.
probably
'Cause they
around
do,
the
like,
Rexburg area, 'cause he's
work
not
in
there, but the
orientation,
training
so
is
like I
high.
can get a lot of different like training certificates with them. But like most of my stuff will be like wherever's close where we can talk and do stuff. And I'm like, that's solid.
that's awesome. Congratulations.
I know, right?
I'm so happy for you guys.
Well, because I was happy already because I had the other job with the Christmas lights, and there was just something I'm like, I started doing it, and they're like, yeah, and it gets really tough once there's snow and ice. I'm like, oh yeah, I don't spending all winter standing on roofs all day in
That are
snow and ice
iced
in
over.
Rexburg. I'm like,
Not a nice
oh wait, this doesn't sound like a
warm
safe
theater.
job. Yeah, I'm like, I'm used to theater work.
Yeah.
I can go.
Not fall off the roof like Braxton.
Well, because like
Oh,
in the interview, they're like,
yeah.
"Are you good with high places?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, easy.
I
I work
didn't think
in
about
theater
that.
like
Oh,
80,
in the
90
winter,
feet
yeah.
in the air," and then was something I'm
My
like,
dad
"Oh,
was
but
doing
covered in
stuff in, like,
ice and snow and
up in
everything."
the rafters and stuff,
Yikes.
and I didn't do
Yeah.
Braxton.
It was just that
Yeah.
like, anywho, sorry for the break, guys. Thank you so much for being patient.
No worries. We're here for the ride, and we're excited for you guys.
Thanks.
Yeah,
You know,
that's gonna make
We've
life
definitely
way
wondered how you guys are doing it, and we've like just really hoped we had something would come through.
I've been
So-
wondering how we've been doing it too. So I'm kidding.
I know. I remember when Nick was working like that weird off. Like it was a good job for him, but like he didn't pay anything. Mason.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, but we lived off of savings. Like
Mm.
he got paycheck, but we definitely like saved and paid a big
Yeah.
thing into that. So I just remember living like that, and it's not comfy.
We've been living off savings right now from person get like her first real paycheck.
And that's what because when I'm
Right,
It's
yeah,
a
same.
thing. Like, I'm grateful that we have savings. Like, I'm grateful it's there. If you
So
don't have
game.
it, it sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, congratulations. That's
Yeah, thank
exciting on all fronts.
So Elizabeth, for
So we're all worried about my dream right now.
in Castle Grayskull in the garden, not quite unlike Bob, but you turn and see the figure of Pitch Black.
This is what happens when
Right.
you deal with the devil.
He's back.
I wondered about when he was coming back.
You see Pitch stands there. He looks
These are amazing, by the way.
very calm. The first thing you get is a sheen of just very cool emotion. Ah, Elizabeth. I was wondering how long it would take for me to talk to you. How are you doing?
Well, my soul was not sold completely to the devil. So, feeling pretty good and peachy over here.
Wonderful.
If you're asking me for a favor, the answer is no.
Don't worry. We have a different vessel. We don't need yours anymore.
Wait, well, where in the timeline is this?
This is now. This is me
This is
having
now. This is now. We're in the timeline now.
This is the darkest timeline.
You see, Pitch looks at you. No, this is not about you having any more deals with me or my father. Rather, it's a bit of a query, a bit of a question for you. I couldn't help but notice, as I've been shunted out of most of your delicious nightmares, that your friends and you have just recently met up with some other friends of mine. Yes, and would I be right in assuming that you have a caged bird?
I mean, technically, he's not in a cage.
I have Merlin screaming in my head, lie!
Yeah, me too.
You see Pitch kind of takes this. So, the man we know as Shen is really a changeling. Oh, now this is awkward. You wouldn't happen to be taking him back to the Shadowfell, now would you?
You crazy?
Go ahead, make me a deception check. It's only DC 10.
Nat 20.
Nat 20. You see Pitch. Good, yes, because if you were going there, you would be going up against truly one of the cruelest people alive.
More cruel than you?
Elizabeth, I grant much, as you know.
Is there anything you want to tell me about this person? You seem very concerned about us over here.
More concerned about the grander state of things. Is that tomato still with you?
I mean, he's our friend. Where else would he go?
Well, if by any chance you run into an archangel soon, would you mind passing along a message?
I mean, you can tell me the message. I can't promise I'll pass it along.
Never mind. Obstinate as ever, but I don't fault you for that. Oh, and when you meet the Dark Queen, you'd be best to remember that she doesn't make deals. Here's where I need you to make me a charisma saving throw.
Well, I'm rolling really well.
Yes, you are.
That is a 19 plus 2 for 21.
Excellent.
take 56 charisma damage.
Charisma damage?
Wait, what?
He insults you so badly.
You just like die, make a new character. Oops. No, you watch Elizabeth as Pitch finishes. Come on, these are just acting up weird. I don't know. Weird. All of you will awaken in the morning as Elizabeth. You do not have any further nightmares. Part of what was going on there. In the morning, however, you are all able to reconvene with one another. And would you tell everyone about your dreams?
Yeah.
So, Michael, can I insight mine before I tell him anything?
Yes. Oh, yeah, for sure. Now that you're like awake and have a moment,
Yeah.
I totally allow it.
Is Fen part of this conversation?
Fen, enough that like, unless you blind him, gag, throw him in another room, like he'll probably
Did
overhear.
he have any wild dreams last night that we could get him to tell us about?
Make me an insight check.
I'm also going to insight check Michael for that one thing we were talking about.
Yeah.
26. Gosh.
Inciting on your dream. That was
Like,
on a 26.
I'm curious about a few things. Like,
Can I
anything
guidance
you'll
myself?
give me,
Yeah.
anything you'll give me, I'll take. But like, what was the timeline on that? Am I older than I think I am, or like
Yeah, that was a repressed memory.
from like far before I remember anything?
Yeah, your mind is starting to go, that was very real. And especially that shift, once you start realizing you understood the primordial, seeing it wasn't dirt and his objects weren't gardening tools, that was repressed. That was an old, true memory. That's not a vision. That wasn't you messing up anything. You were finally pushing into something maybe too old. What'd you get, Moses, for yours, and then Tulia finally?
Got a nat 20 for a total of 21.
Nice.
Those two net 20s.
Michael is very good at masking what he wants. He really, really needs that seal holder on that insight. You're realizing if he's asking you specifically, that's big. That means the entire host of heaven can't do this, and he is turning to next in line, for lack of a better term. And for part of that other stuff, Michael is really unsure if you... It's the idea of, what do you know that I don't know? And I'm trying to figure out if you know what I know that you know. When he's talking about God and what you hear and what you can do, you are not a prophet of Michael. You are a prophet of the Lord, right? When you were called, that the burning bush, that's Zephyr. Like, I'll say, yeah, passive history. You don't ever have to worry about, like, oh no, was I actually talking to Mike, or was I getting duped? No, that was very... You've seen... Dude, Zephim, that power, I mean, it's why having those clerical abilities and the zealot barbarian, dude, you got some real powerhouse in that corner.
Mm-hmm.
So Michael is stressed as hell, but on a nat 20, there's something else. Michael seemed excited. There was a deep mask, not just about what he needed to hide in terms of his, like, anxiety. He seems very excited, and that you truly don't know why. But that's a terrifying prospect of Michael's scene. There was something about him that was way too chipper right now. Tulia, what did you get?
18.
18. Fen, or Shake, whatever you want to call him, the fake Shen. Yeah, Shen, Shen but fake. Fen is pretty serene. I did have to roll an opposed deception, as that was more of a to a person.
Stupid deception.
Very stupid, actually. If he had a dream, he's either masking it very well, or he may have been pretty normal. But again, it's hard to tell because I can't tell you what his deception was. Otherwise, it'll be like, oh, so I obviously got.
But it's not like if we ask him outright, will he tell us no, he didn't?
You have that assumption because, like, he's willing to help you, but he may not get that personal yet, right? He is still very much freshly imprisoned with you guys.
Oh, by the way, Pitch is a I forgot to lie.
I love that choice.
Or-
I had it never apologized
That's
for playing
very
Elizabeth. Oh, I forgot to
Elizabeth.
lie.
I see that like classic
he knows.
memory and
Yes.
think about it, yeah.
I did lie about where we're going. After I realized I should have not told him, but
I mean, if he asked you about it, he probably already knew.
Yeah.
Well, of course.
But any possibility of throwing him a little bit off the scent.
See, Shen, thank you for not telling him then.
Can I do any kind of because I want, like, he said this woman this creature, whoever we're gonna go meet,
Mm-hmm.
is like the cruelest creature that he knows.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he knows some pretty cool creatures.
Pitch Black, knowing cruel creatures? Yeah.
Shit, Queen Mab's got them pretty bad.
Yeah, I
Or
don't know
was
if
it
there's like
thinking
some
about
kind of
what's her name?
Morgana, because I feel like both their names came up when we were talking to the Moon Party, right?
Yeah.
And they were both involved somehow. So it felt like
We've
it
heard
could be
sketchy
either.
things about
Are we
both
sure
of
they're
them.
not the same
Yeah.
person? And like different
Oh.
aspects of the same person or something?
Would you like to give me a history check, Tulio?
Yes.
I'll say it's a very tough DC right now. Just
Can somebody give me help action?
I got you.
Moses, you can't give a help action on this because help action has to be. You would also need to have some information on it.
Would I have
Um,
any kind of information based off of my age?
Yes. So Elizabeth, you and
Do you
Tulio
want
be
to see
giving.
who has a higher
Totally
Um,
history?
What's
metagaming
your
here, but
history?
I would.
got like a 5.
Would I have
Oh,
any information
yeah,
based
plus
on
one.
my age?
That's very metagaming based on your age. I would say Bob probably not right now because
Okay.
again, unlike
Well, you
Elizabeth
guys
who
just
just has a
said how
cast,
That's
old
a
you
dirty
are.
20.
dirty 20.
Can I add to it with a guidance? Well, that wouldn't break any 25s or anything anyway, so I'll do
I'll
that.
allow this though. Miguel will give you a D8 bardic.
Bardic? Excellent. That's only plus 3, but that's still 23 is not bad.
You could give yourself a
Guidance.
Can
That
I?
would break
Alright.
25, maybe.
If you get
That's plus 3, 26.
26.
Thank you. Wow.
That's nice.
Tulio, Queen Mab, and Morgana, and these queens, and all these things that fake Shen has said, and Elizabeth in her dreams and pitch. It's rough because those are always just like names at one point, right? Suddenly there's just a new name that you're having to keep track of. But you're trying to think through some of the old stories you've ever heard of, Spanish mythology, because I think it is, Moses, not that you couldn't help it, again, you're trying to think through what have I heard about in, like, some of the lore from Egypt, some of the lore from the Mennonites, Elizabeth, thinking through your vast experience, and Bob, even from, like, well, if I'm older than I think, what could I remember? Do I have something stored? The problem is, there comes a point, naturally, which one could call the mythological convergence. Stories can get so old that they fold in on themselves, that they start drawing in unrelated aspects or other stories, or even on their same story. Where Moses, you know, the best example of this is Adam and Eve. There is scripture, there is stuff that exists, but even for what you know with the Mennonites, with the Egyptians, with even the angels, eventually some stories, are they real or not? Because unless we have proof, we have to go by written word, and that can reach a tipping point. Very much like a black hole. There's just so much that it starts warping a lot of information around it. With Queen Mab and with Morgana Le Fay, these ideas of this cruel queen, if they're related, that's wild that somehow that got forgotten. But on a 26, that's not outside the realm of possibility. Is two parts of the coin, these dark, fey-like creatures could very much exist. But that's the problem. Even on 26, you can't ever know for sure. Like Elizabeth, thinking through the years of experience, the millennium, you've heard these names, but would they be connected? There's pieces then missing that you would know. The best answer would be places where they have more answers, which for you, Elizabeth, in terms of like what could shore up your knowledge is far, far away. For Tulio, what you would know is that would be Barcelona, some of those old libraries in Spain. For Bob, Uriel, but again, that feels such a monster. And for Moses, it's going back to the Mennonites, maybe even with Jethro and all those friends you have. because the only way to pull out of a convergent mythological tale is to get more canon, more truth and fact.
I have a theory about how it could have happened, because you're saying part of the thing is it would be wild how that got, like, what was the missing link or whatever. And this might get slightly metagamey, but let's say, there was this, like, big eldritch mage who was, like, known, whatever, and she got, like, say, theoretically sealed away on another plane of existence or something, and then sort of, like, has missed that way of, like, sending minions back to the border plane while she can't come or something. Like, could that be part of that whole thing?
Part of it, but again, it's that, like, not to give that very deep answer of, like, let's go do lore and history checks, but it really is that, like, the puzzle piece is so connected, so fine of a web right now. You gotta find your own tipping point to really
I don't know if
flesh
it's
out.
worth it to, like, go somewhere for a library when you already have the whole quest
When
thing.
you have a
And
lot.
yet, if we were already gonna go somewhere to look for clerics, and it's a big enough city to have, like, a library and a cleric.
Set of scriptures.
Bob, here's what's wild. You don't have set of scriptures. It's always been in your mind. Your knowledge has always come passively. Again, pre-program maybe is a bad word to use, especially after your dream and everything, but it is that, like, you just kind of always naturally had meeting Moses. You're a prophet, and I know the Lord.
always forget
Do you
that,
have
like,
a set of
Bob is the
scriptures?
most eldritch
I mean,
thing among us.
I assume I have the books I'm writing.
Your books.
Oh yeah, Books of
The
Moses.
true.
I go in and read his book, the section specifically about like the war in heaven binding Lucifer.
Yeah.
Here's the
See if
Torah.
that-
Yeah.
See
No, it
if
really
that
is. The
triggers,
Torah.
like any other memories.
Smart. I like that. Yeah, give me a history check. It's a bit of that lore as you kind of have to dig in through the Torah. Because I will say also, Shen is going to start describing for Moses, because you have tree stride. Whenever you're ready, the closest tree next to where we first arrived from is across the world in North America. The city was known as Arcadia. There is a tree nearby the portal. From what I understand, we won't be close, but within a few mile radius.
Have any of us ever heard of Arcadia before?
Arcadia, maybe in passing. It's one of those, again, the New World countries like America, they kind of went off on their own, much more into tech than magic. Again, how we kind of absolve, how we have like Megamind and Troll Hunters and all those like American more movies. Arcadia's that like, yeah, all right, I know of it. Kind of like how we could say like Hong Kong. I would dare any of you point to Hong Kong on a map. It's like, well, yeah, I know it exists, but to what extent?
So, do we want to go
Can I
straight?
ask Moses for help?
Yeah, I'll allow Moses to give help. I got it.
Do you want to roll for Daddy?
Roll the dice.
You want to roll the dice?
If it's a nat 20, William, you're cool. Roll it.
You drop it. Drop it. Put it in there.
Yeah.
That was worse. I'm sorry.
Oh.
11.
Good job, William. Always feel pride because you got to roll. 11.
What was the higher one? 8.
Hey.
Oh, so he had an 8 and a 6.
Oh, jeez.
I just
So-
wanna, can I put my 2 cents out there before
Yeah,
we
yeah.
go to Arcadia? I think we should go find a bigger city. My only concern is that we still have Shen.
I guidance myself. I have it as a kid.
You have guidance yourself? Yeah.
Okay.
Miguel will also give you a D8 bark.
Oh,
Just help you out. DMPC, I get very liberal with the barks because I'm like, well, that's what Miguel can do.
17, 21.
21.
Oh,
Very nice.
My gosh.
that was a very clutch roll right there.
Clutch bardic and guidance. 21. Bob, oh, the War in Heaven, talked about in the Torah is very, no pun intended, apocryphal. There's a lot of stuff like, and when Michael laid open his palms and raised the armies of and you're like, okay, well, obviously that's just a little fanciful. But there's a lot of truth in it. You're realizing, again, it's that like we know in our scripture, it's like there is doctrine and there is scripture. I know that sounds odd, but it's like, so what is the truth from what a prophet tried to write? When they talk about the word heaven in terms of Dremor, in terms of this world, it was, according to the writings, 777 years of war, which afterwards started our calendar. Their year 0 was not the birth of the Christ, like we would know in our Christian and Judaic calendars. It's they think like, okay, after 770 years of war, when heaven won and Lucifer was sealed and the demons sealed away, that's when we start our calendar. So we're in the year 3264 because it's been that long since the war.
Yeah.
So there was war before. Again, Adam was born and they had family and everything. When you're looking at the sealing, though, it is to know when Lucifer rebelled against God, he became and marked himself the devil, right? It was that, like, the first time evil was introduced into the world. And that gets a little weird where you go, there had to be evil before. So maybe when they say mark, it's that, like, this is where evil manifested. It's that, like, okay, so this makes sense. And in looking through from your then vision and memory, it's when Lucifer was bound and sealed away. It talks a little bit about the 7 seals and how they will be loosed in a glorious day. But you have, on a 21, a slight tingling in your mind, not so much about, like, the validity of the doctrine, but more of, yeah, there's something not fully here. Because they're talking about how Enzephim struck down Lucifer and everything, but from what you saw in your vision, God didn't do that. The Lord didn't. This God, this Zephim, didn't strike down Lucifer. Lucifer, from what you understand, Elizabeth saw what happens when an angel truly rebels. That happens naturally. There is apparently a almost chemical process of, like, you have chosen to reject a radiant soul, and therefore it burns in a corruption, right?
Did I tell you about that one? What happened to the angel?
Yeah, I think so. Or unless I misremember.
Essentially, the guy who let
Yeah.
Pitch in
Yeah.
turned into a demon who turned into a fallen angel.
Yeah.
To which, Bob, you could assume then from this, it's more of not heaven damning an angel. It's they had a pact. They damned themselves. This is a broken. You see it in paladins. Oath breakers exist in this world. When you break an oath, power changes, right? It's a magical chemical process. So it's there is more here to that, and all of these holy books and stuff seem to point out, and so God, cursed Lucifer and sealed him away. It's like, but I know those two things have to be not fully written. Not that they're doctrinally incorrect, but my memory serves that Uriel helped somehow. And why would Lucifer be damned when his natural rebellion to whatever pact or oath or angelic promise already twisted that away, right? And it comes in where you met this Valka person. There is a difference between damnation and falling, even. Like, that there is that lore difference. And so, Bob, in thinking of your memory, your memory, though, serves correctly there of, you're not reading the Torah and going, and that's what I know. It's, my mind is telling me something's missing.
Something slightly different.
Something is different here.
Like I have puzzle pieces that aren't documented here.
Exactly.
So I'm going to stop, turn to Moses and say, would you like me to fill in the blanks here?
Sure.
Well, it seems like you're missing the whole part about Uriel helping with the binding.
Didn't know about that.
Yeah,
And then I'll
fill
fill it in.
Fill them in on like my dream.
So how does your whole vision thing work? And can we trigger another one so you can see whatever is that happened?
We could knock him out.
Because it would be that, like,
Miguel on it, pulls up a metal pipe, gets ready to Cat in the Hat style smack. Yeah. And then also to bring this in with,
like 30, 35 DC, but it would be that wild shenanigan where you're like, if there is more information for you to have, it's not like, well, if you give this information, feed it into the prophet and be like, hey, can you see more?
And then knock you out.
I'll give you two things then passively, because also bringing in with Elizabeth and Tula that conversation of, because a big city could really help. There's a lot of stuff like if we need these puzzle pieces, if we want, again, best way to arm yourselves is with knowledge. But of course, that's rough because most major cities can get rough, especially for you guys being a little more high profile and having fake Shen with you.
I'm a little worried about that part.
Exactly. And then compounded with this is in trying for other visions and stuff, some of that passive, Bob, that you're talking about is, well, you do know a seraphim. You know Gabriel. He is. I mean, he can't always like do big things, but if he's careful about, if
He may be a little. He like maybe puzzle pieces.
We're still in the inn, right?
Yes, Snowball Inn.
So I was wondering if we had someone who's paying for our room and board, would they also pay for other items?
Quite possibly if you send out a courier to say hey, can we get a quick blank check?
I'm just worried about if we go to far, far away, especially. My pink hair is one of the distinguishing features.
Exactly.
But we could send someone there for us.
But
Is that what you're saying?
no, I'm saying, can we dye my hair?
Oh, like a full take time before we
We
even
also
go.
have, we're flush with cash after selling the boat.
Yeah.
You do have the group fund now.
Yeah.
Well,
But if
I
we
mean-
have somebody else that will pay for it,
Yeah.
I mean, why not?
that's actually
Because I'm thinking, just for the safety features of it, it would be nice if we could, prep and disguise ourselves before we got there.
Yeah.
because especially you and Moses are bigger
Really big
faces.
because, pink
Bob's
hair,
easy to
and you're a
profit.
profit.
I
Whatever
mean,
you are.
after everything with Fairy Godmother and everything far, far away, it's let's not go. That's really smart. I will totally allow. Easy enough send couriers. Again, this is a fantasy city. I mean, text messages doesn't exist, so there's people you can be like, hey, run to the castle, ask for Peacekeeper. We just need some. Can we get a checkbook or something to the extent of?
Just
Can I give you green morph suits that look like a pea instead of a tomato?
That's kind of funny.
Don't you have a little disguise?
You would actually. So many horologists would look at you and go, "What happened to this pea? Why is it so big?"
Why is there a stem
I think
on
at
it?
that point, avocado.
Is it?
There you go.
The
There you
shape's
go.
different though.
But is an avocado a vegetable? I'm sorry.
What if you became an orange tomato versus a red tomato? I mean, those exist. Our parents grew them here.
That was really funny.
Baseball.
I like it. Not even a vegetable fruit, because that's too suspicious. A vegetarian is already suspicious, so just
A
inanimate.
the courier runs
I like
back.
that,
Yeah.
actually.
Basically, as long as it's not over 50 gold pieces, yes. The same note, that kind of letter promise you got from the Peacekeepers for just the night, should work as long as you're not saying, hey, we want to buy a car or a chariot or big things.
What is-
definitely knew my plans over there.
Is there a sport that's big in the big cities, far, far away?
Oh, in the big cities, Far Far Away do a
With,
ton of.
ball that may be
Why
about
are we
this
talking
size?
specifically far, far away? Did we agree that was where we were going? 'Cause
Far Far
I
Away
would
is.
feel better about,
I will
Spain
say
or
it's
somewhere where
if
we
we're
did,
ranking,
rob a
Far Far
shop.
Away is technically number one when it comes to they have so much. They are the metropolis of the world right now.
Far away.
Yeah.
It's Metropolis, Egypt, Barcelona. There's a lot, but again,
Plus
all
Seal
of
of Merlin.
Seal of Merlin is
Far
something
Far
like
Away might
that would
place
be a
to
good place to start.
Is there
Fair.
a sport with a ball that I could just get to
Right?
the
We
casing
caused
of
big
or
waves
the
there.
Yeah.
And
outside
is
of
it
the
like
They have a
Your
form of
godmother's in
sport.
Far Far Away, isn't she?
Technically, it'd be a
Prince
bigger
Charming.
ball than
Prince Charming,
you.
which is her son.
It's more. Think of a rugby type sport is what
I
they
don't
play, but
remember.
using magic.
Obviously,
Should we,
maybe they were
hollow out
connected.
the
I don't
ball and I'll go
remember.
inside
I think
it?
she did tell us that.
Yeah.
She tell us.
Okay.
I feel like she
I'll
did.
play on that.
Yeah.
Sweet.
August, before we start metagaming, did the
Yep.
fairy godmother tell us it was her son who was running the country?
Do we ever find out Prince Charming's now King Charming?
I can
I
tell you.
think we did know he was King Charming. I think the question was did she outright say he was
Yes.
her?
We've heard.
I know I made a note about it. Give me 2 seconds because it's in one of my
Because it
old.
felt like none of us are sure what we heard in session and not.
Well, exactly. That's why I know I made a note
We've
about
heard
it.
King Charming. We just
I try to keep
don't
notes
know
of those
his-
lore
his
things
son.
that.
Yeah, we definitely knew they were connected, but
Yeah.
We just
I don't
wanna make
remember
sure
for
that
sure.
we don't
Let's see. Mountain party.
Accidental metagaming,
Yes.
That happens all the time. Yeah.
Well, because my whole thing is oh no, I don't want to go there, and then I keep remembering stuff that the other party's done, and I'm like, wait, maybe we should go there.
Yeah.
Here we
I
go.
mean, I feel like in some ways it'll be good just because we are more familiar with it than other places, except you
You
went to
guys
Spain, but as a party we
talked
know far, far away.
to
Next
after
one.
the deal with the
So
devil.
Toby,
So here we go. The Make a Wish
like, at the end of
Foundation.
every session, he'll be like, I had this much of
Um,
that I made, and when I made those cinnamon rolls,
Yeah.
he's like, I have 7 of your cinnamon rolls
Yes,
made out.
what-
They were
You
so
did
good.
learn.
So-
She. It was a combination of she talked about the power she holds, and in the city before you even met her, how Charming has connections to the Make a Wish Foundation, and that was a natural insight. You guys, I allowed you back in the moment.
There we
Because
go.
in your interview, when she was threatening you, she helped learn more about the angels going on, and you learned more about her. There was that give and take, but again, that's when she was like, I'm asking the questions, and that's where it kind of cut.
Okay.
So yeah, all you really got was like, oh, she's related to Charming. I'll say easy enough, passive, like mother probably, or aunt, like definitely some maternal figure to him biologically to that
Sounds
extent.
good.
Yep.
We will
Alrighty.
make note of that we are not wrong.
Yes, because I'm like, I know I always make notes when you guys meet big important figures. I'm like, what do they tell you of their lore that they know? Because that helps me. So yes, Elizabeth, they can help get you any color hair dye you need. Bob, a ball to hollow out for this form of rugby, and for the rest of the party, of
I was
course,
gonna say red, but
disguise.
Oh my gosh, that's so
Go to
similar.
pink
though.
to red. Yeah,
I know.
I would go
they'll never
like,
find me
I'm
as I
just
just.
like, should I go
cover
like
my
dark
mouth.
versus light? So let's go brown or black.
Literally.
I would
Be like,
probably
I
go
need to disguise.
dark
Just shave the
because
mustache.
it's
Yeah.
like so different.
Yeah. We'll go dark hair.
Dark hair, alright.
Whatever.
Unless
we
you want to
can
go
find.
like green or something. That's like that would be
Again,
crazy.
it's not
Like,
like-
There's this person who's got pink hair and now she is green.
right?
There is something to be said of harsh enough change to what people think to be looking for, and then there's that turning point of, and now that's just obvious.
So,
Yeah.
what are we going to the city for, and what is our plan to
We
actually-
definitely want like clerics to get rid of the
Mhm.
lingering effects
Yeah.
on. I think it's just me and Altivo right now, right?
Yep.
And
And
me, but
What do you have?
like my organs started
Right,
running.
right. I forgot about
I
that.
forgot about that. I'm
But
glad
the
you
DC, like my normal whatever I need to roll meets the DC,
Yeah,
so we
It's
just
that like
been
nothing's.
You
like,
just gotta be careful, because if it ever
actively
happens
killing
again,
you,
suddenly
but-
it's jaggedly at that
Yes.
point.
Yeah, so we should definitely try to get
So we
all
should
three
take care of
you
that.
guys healed.
August floated the whole library thing to help like support info on like Morgana
Yeah.
/ Mab.
and also Seal of Merlin.
Sealmer, and even with Bob trying to learn more about the sealing in the Holy War,
Yeah.
right? Like,
So like lots of lore we want to look up.
Yeah. It's more about just that. It's not necessarily about. We don't really want to be pissed off when we think it's more.
Yeah.
correct.
Was that you asking the question?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I
So
was just making sure I was on the same page.
Mhm.
it sounds like we're leaning towards far, far away, but before we like hard decide on it, I have one more like possible counterpoint for Spain. Like just historically, is there some big like cathedral that I would know about where it's like they have the library of like apocrypha and stuff that would be like, oh, this is the specialized stuff.
Well, technically,
And
you
that,
don't
like,
want the
if
Library
we
of
bring
Apocrypha.
a prophet there, like they would probably.
Here's the
help
thing.
out.
Yeah, Spain is very.
What about-
Oh, you're just that passage. Spain is very Catholic, or what we could call it.
Exactly.
They believe in Zephon the Lord. They're a big nation of like, yeah, we're down for a monotheistic God.
This might be Hannah metagaming,
Mhm.
and if it is, tell me to stop.
You're good, yeah.
But Italy, Rome,
The Vatican.
True.
Vatican.
Does that exist in
I don't
Dremore at this
know.
time?
And-
Technically, there's no pope.
But I'm thinking like
The form of.
Paul
Mhm.
technically would have been a prophet, right?
So it's dealing with like if there are places in Italy, Rome, in the Mediterranean around like, well, there's Syracuse, another major nation down there in the 12 Kingdoms. They might have a lot of very intricate knowledge. Again, Catholicism has spread kind of like our world of it started down in the Middle East with a lot of those early prophets and has mostly been spreading outwards to places like Spain, the Mediterranean, downwards into Africa, outwards a little bit into Asia, but not terribly. Like it, that is the main hotspots of the in this world people who worship Zephon.
Or what about England?
Yeah, you're getting then into their queen has the Church of England.
Yeah.
Zephon to the point of
Protestants,
what they
yeah.
want to worship.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't.
So, like, for what we're looking for, probably one of the big, like, Catholic abbeys or cathedrals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wherein I would say truly passively, yeah, those exist, but it's like, would it be better to have such a singular focus on the stuff needed for like Zephon and that aspect for Moses Bob versus like major cities like Syracuse, Egypt, and far, far away that could really hit everyone's points because of it's just a metropolis, right?
Yeah,
A
it's
lot of stuff.
Canonically, I don't think we've been to Syracuse yet, but didn't we hear from another party that there's, like, a goddess going crazy down there?
Nope.
Did we not hear about that?
Nope.
Oh, no, it was the moon party that heard about that.
Yep.
Sorry, it's again so hard to keep the wires across them like who knows what.
Yeah.
That's why
Oh,
shoot.
I keep notes.
We
Don't
were
worry.
not
Just
worried about
Wanting us to stumble
Syracuse
into
sounds great.
Syracuse and have to deal with that.
Syracuse sounds amazing.
Probably.
Oh, I hate that. That
I'm
we don't know.
gonna put
to-
my 2 cents into going
Mhm.
somewhere that's very strongly Catholic that we're familiar with,
Mhm.
or going somewhere that would have like a big base of knowledge,
Like
so they're
Egypt.
far away.
Because my thought is the urgency is
Actually,
probably
just the
more
Library of
the,
Alexandria thing, yeah.
Oh, Moses, why would you bring up such a tragedy?
That's right.
because
It
it
burned.
burned, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
That was a big thing, actually, just in the
Portable.
past age, right? Now we're in about what we would call the 5th age. That was just across the line in the 4th age. Oh, ooh, terrible.
Too soon.
Too soon, Moses. Too soon. Sorry. No, it was too funny using your metagame. But yeah, no, it's that like, oh, because if that still
That would have
existed-
been perfect.
Yeah.
But when there was a lot, because again, Syracuse, the 12 nations of the Mediterranean have had a lot of issues, if we're being honest, right? They're just now getting to the point of like, not peace. Again, there was a whole Book of Peace thing going on a few years back. But yeah, no, it really is that like, I think we're all no longer like actively barred teeth.
I do see the draw of like a wider base of knowledge because I feel like the urgency is more the like what are we dealing with immediately in Shadowfell rather than the like apocalypse stuff we can figure out later.
So you're thinking of way over Spain?
Maybe you guys talked me into it.
So what over Spain? The
Far
far.
over Spain.
It is that like I as a DM want to say there are options. I just have to be a fair DM and say technically, although far away is very dangerous, it really does hit the points that you as a party have going on for you.
Yeah. So you do far away, then Spain.
If we need to.
If yeah,
Was there something you just wanted to say?
No, I'm gonna shoot something first.
gotcha.
Bad stuff could happen though.
I'm a little nervous, but okay. But we have to make sure to stay on top of shit because there would be like a
That's what
that
I'm saying.
he could run easily.
Fen. Fen is again. This whole time has been tied up just listening.
He gave us a list of where other changelings that he knew about were, right?
Mm-hmm.
Were there any that
Was-
near far away?
None that he
Prince
gave
Charming,
you.
the changeling.
Now that
Can
would.
I cast Zone of Truth?
Ooh, yeah.
Is Prince Charming a changeling? Or is the person in Prince Charming's role, King Charming's role?
Yeah, there's a good one. Here's, he'll make a roll for it. What's your save DC?
35. No, I'm just kidding. 17.
17 's
Still
still
really
really
high.
good.
Yeah.
He will fail, unfortunately. So he'll be a little sparingly. Again, has to tell the truth when he talks, but he can't just choose to stay silent. You ask about it. You see, Fen goes, "I have simply told you everything I'm aware of."
Mm-hmm.
It's a very Faye thing to do. Of like, well, technically.
He
So are
wasn't
any-
on the list before, was he?
No.
I don't think so.
The list before you had, there was a couple Vikings, like those Nordic people, a toad, a couple of Egyptian children, and Shen the peacock, but that was also Yarnu.
Do you
So,
know
like-
of plans in the past to make him a changeling?
Make him a change.
Like,
Swap
replace
around.
him?
You see, he goes, replacing him would have been beneficial.
I mean, and it does make sense that all the changelings don't know who all the other changelings are.
I do want to hop
It's
on
like
the
sleeper
list.
agents, right? You could work with another sleeper agent.
I do want to hop on your.
Yeah.
Well, just because your quick recap of the list, most of what you gave us had a location attached, right? Like the Vikings were obviously in that like northern archipelago, like the Egyptian children obviously in Egypt, Shen obviously from China. We knew that, but like, wasn't there one where you like didn't attach a location to it?
The toady guy.
That was,
Did
yeah,
he-
Toad.
Where's the toady guy?
Oh, yeah. Are you asking him that?
Asking Shen, yeah,
What Toad?
the one you just told us about.
That was from Taruka the Changeling, not from Fen.
Oh,
So he doesn't know about
I
the
thought
toad.
we heard it from both.
The toad
Again,
was younger because he's older.
Again,
the other guy knew
Keyword
reasons.
sleeper agents. I'm very careful. They do have stuff. Again, it's why it was beneficial.
I
to give
swear
Shen.
the last session I went, haha, we've heard it from two places now though, and so we know that one's true.
You've heard, yes, of Toad, but he never gave you a location.
Okay.
Can I cover his ears?
Yes.
quick, and I'll squeeze just a little too tight.
As this peacock is
Some
very
ears.
concerned how his ears are being covered when he doesn't have ears and you don't have hands.
And then I'll say, I think it's a safer bet not to bring him into Prince Charming's quarters if we do run into Charming.
Yeah.
Hopefully you will.
Hopefully.
But sure,
But-
yes.
Yeah, just in case.
I mean, don't give him access to anyone with power, because then that gives him easy double cross.
Yeah.
That's how this works.
Yep. Basically.
In which case, you have that plan. Again, you guys are all keeping an eye on him. I wouldn't be a fair DM unless a lot of stuff was wildly happening that has to subvert your passive perceptions for him to even start trying something.
Yeah.
And even then, there would still be other checks involved. Keeping close eye on Fen, you guys would all be able to gather up. And Moses, would you like to tree stride out towards far, far away?
Yep. That's true stride gang.
Following out to one of
There's
these
a-
winter, more pine trees out by the Snowball Tavern, placing the staff across as the pine tree seems to bend and curl as the tip almost wraps into a portal of fur and needle. You all step through into a much different kingdom. And of course, you've all done very well to disguise yourselves. I will say again, unless there is active reason, I'm not even going to make checks to look for you. You did a really smart thing of dyeing hair, putting yourself in objects, like cloaking, disguise. Like, that's all very well done passive. Stepping into far, far away, there is an immediate change, though, of attitude. It's something you never really notice when you live in a community or city. Ilvanor was that very tense stress of they just almost went to war, a nation that has historically not been to war in millennia. They are the peaceful nation of Ilvanor. They have been allies with everyone, and they almost got a coup on them. But stepping into far, far away, kind of like the last time you were there, there's a much different edge here now of high excitement. As people move to and fro, and they are talking excitedly, passively, what you all would be able to hear and understand is that far, far away is in the middle of a big old set of games. People are really excited. They are really pumped. The far, far away games are bringing in tourism, money, excitement. People are able to sign up and play these games. And of course, what everyone's talking about is the prize money. Well, did you hear about the recent? I heard that they're actually going for $500,000 gold. $500,000. That's it. Well, only if they win all five. I heard it was going to be 6. No, it's 5. You see, passing by another small group. I thought I'd sign up myself, but there's so many adventuring parties signing up. It's going to be tough to fight your way through. Yes, but there's still cash prize for individual game. Well, we could probably sign up for one game. One game? What are you talking about? No, don't you hear? If you can come in first in one of the games, 50,000 gold pieces. 50,000. Well, of course, but the whole prize is you're going for more of the overall points. You want adventuring party because you all get the accumulative. As then a different group passing by. Well, but recently these past 2 games have been quite exciting, right? I mean, who would have expected that turnout, the sudden top runner, and suddenly he gets taken out by the orcs? I mean, it still keeps what do they call themselves? The round.
Fire.
I know, that's what I was thinking.
The round table's still in first with 107. But the Frozen Blood is just behind with 97. That's only a 10-point difference. As people are talking to and fro about these games. You guys are in far, far away again. Stepping around, what is one of the first things you want to look for? Do you want to go for like library to maybe look for general information, more of a church where you could probably start zoning in on that, or even looking for more of the clerical nature in terms of healing, and even maybe some information about like just general things you could be looking for.
Do we want to try and divide and conquer? Like me and Bob take the church.
Yeah, we will
take
take
the
it.
library.
All right. And
By force,
I will
yes.
allow Miguel and Shell to watch Fen. Because again,
Yes.
You can't really lead him around. Like, eventually, someone's gonna be like, "Hey, why do you have a tied-up peacock walking around with you?" Like,
Yeah.
they'll maybe hang more to the shadows, different places, to just like keep a very close eye but not be seen.
That sounds good.
Do we want to also question? Do we want to see if we can find an inn? Because if we're gonna try to use trees straight out of here, we have to stay the night.
What especially thought like if they need a place to just like be out of the public eye, that like if they go hang out in a ruin and we can like meet up with them there later,
Yeah.
like and then we have a meeting point for the party.
Yes. Looking around for a quick inn, the first thing you'll notice is there's a pretty poppin' inn. A lot of, like, you're seeing other adventuring parties of elves and goblins and humans and orcs that all of different varieties, kind of like yourselves, are coming in and out of, because it's this grand old, big, caricature-esque court jester with, on one hand, a mug of beer and on the other hand, a knife. It is called the Trickster's Tavern. It looks like a kind of like what you say, like, oh, this is kind of like a small hotel slash motel slash inn. Heading on in, if you want, you would be greeted by a server. Gnomish woman runs up. Adventurers, here for the games or here for tourism?
Yes.
We're tourists.
Tourism. Excellent. Then, right now we're running one room, about 10 gold a night, or you just here for food right now?
Do you have any rooms?
You see, she says, I have about 10 rooms right now. They've just been cleaned, but we're doing with a bit. Because you see, yeah, this is like an adventure hotel. Like, people are coming in and out all the time.
I'll take a room. Do you want food too?
2 rooms again?
2 rooms.
2 rooms, 20 gold if you want to tack in food for, because she even helps count you, Bob, and that, like, obviously you need some for nurturing. Another gold on, so 21.
Does she see
Uh,
the ball?
Oh, because you're hiding yourself in the ball.
Very
That's right. It's more than just disguise.
Yeah.
With what she would say, I could tack on then just 1 more gold piece, food for both nights. Sound good?
Yeah.
Yeah, 21 gold pieces. I can knock that.
Excellent. Party name to put on your tickets.
The Harbingers.
Harbingers. Okay, you are rooms 201 and 212, so second story. You're gonna turn right. Food, we have food mornings from about 7 to 10. We do have a lunch, but again, it is just quick fruits and veg left over from breakfast. And dinners, of course, anytime after 6 p.m. She'll hand you guys each a copy of these tickets with a quick wax stamp. As you see, she's immediately writing more adventurers are coming in. You see a group all in these like intricate black cloaks and symbols are all like vying for a room now.
I don't want to be picky, but do you have any rooms that are right next to each other?
See,
Available?
make a quick check there. Yes, you'll have to give me until tonight for them to be ready, and could I charge you an extra 5 silver to quick clean it? We just had some people.
Versus on opposite sides. Are you guys okay with that?
Okay, so yeah, by tonight, come find me again. She'll say, yes, so it'll be 302 and 303, so 3rd floor on the left side. She'll make that change, and again, yeah, you won't have it until very much later tonight, but they'll be right next to each other. She said,
Is one of them ready?
she says, technically yes, but again, we can get them ready because we can magic so you can have a connecting door into the rooms if that's what you wanted. That's also, it's more than just cleaning, it's that like putting on new arcane locks, making a door in between. It's an adventure hotel basically.
This is such a cool hotel.
Yeah.
I guess.
This is and this is the one that looks affordable. There are a lot here that are like, that's too expensive. But that is a casino. Like, this is the like, okay, this is definitely one that a lot of people use because there's a good flow, which is pretty standard. The Trickster's Tavern, she'll give you all these tickets. More people coming out. Again, you keep overhearing the games. Like, oh, if I get my hands on that squeaky little punk ass fuck of a kid, I'm gonna take his own sword, shove it so far up his head. Do you know what he did to me? As people are complaining about, you're guessing like, oh, you must be playing the games or you must be doing stuff. As it sounds like then a Divide and Conquer, where Miguel and Shell will stay here in the tavern, just in that like we'll get a booth and stay behind to help watch Fen. And it sounds like if Moses and Bob heading to church or one of the more religious places, with Tulio and Elizabeth heading off towards a library slash just more wealth of knowledge. Here we go. Let's see what we go to first. All right. Elizabeth and Tullio, heading through the streets of Far, Far Away, hustle and bustle, hawking wares, grand design and architecture. It very much is that like cool skyscraper modern city meets high fantasy. Carriages ride by, intricate hawkers. We would call Gruber Eats. You see little couriers running around with like local foods from taverns, bringing it back to hotels for adventurers who really just need a night in after a long day of work. You guys will notice heading out towards more of the main parts of the city, there are lots of notice boards, lots of stuff. You will notice that there is a pretty steady stream towards a wanted section. Big old bright yellow lettering painted on the wood. Passing by, you'll notice it's not just like wanted like criminals. It is like wanted, 2 adventurers coming out, problem with trolls under my bridge, please advise, 10 gold for consultation. You're seeing these things, but of course it's Tullio and Elizabeth. You see your faces on the wanted sign under the wanted portion. As you are looking through, what you'll notice is there are some for almost all the party. Almost.
Oh yeah.
Oh, because we didn't have
Shell,
Oh,
yeah.
because you'll notice
Miguel.
does have one, but it's very faded,
Yeah.
right? It was an old... Tullio and Miguel used to
We
be
got up to something
real
great.
criminals. Like, you know, straight up criminals.
The good old days.
The good old days. Tullio, though, his bounty has been increased. Tullio's poster is new, with a 300,000 gold, by order of the Royal Crown of Far, Far Away.
I can turn you in and become rich.
Elizabeth, yours is for 200,000 gold.
Jeez, you could turn me in and become rich.
Bob the Tomato has one for him for 200,000 gold.
I'm the same person.
Hunk has one for 200,000 gold.
Oh.
Moses has one for 250,000, and you notice it is not only marked with the seal of Far, Far Away, but also of Egypt.
That makes sense.
As an extradition idea of like, hey, we normally don't really care if it's not the kingdom, but apparently Egypt's willing to pay for him. And finally, yeah, Miguel's is only a 50,000. There are some other higher price, but it's very faded, old style. And Nana's wanted poster for 150,000 for old lady adventurer dwarf.
Here's the thing.
It's really small.
Nana and Hunk are dead, and so like we've got strong feelings about this. Can I make a sleight of hand to just like stealthily burn theirs?
Yes.
I was
For
gonna
sure.
say, do we have something of theirs to prove, like, hey, they're dead?
Try to turn the reward. Could be
But
risky,
then we
but
would be caught as
yeah,
well.
they might go like, that's great, who are
That's
you?
a
And
19 sleight of hand.
19 beats the
Send it
DC in the busy city.
We could send
There's no wanted
Michelle.
poster for Chad.
Yeah, I'll say you can
But I think we
swipe
don't
them.
have anything from them except for Nana's.
No, I swear we.
Hunk stuff is in a chest
Right.
on the sled, currently in Cortez's camp.
Gosh.
When you all had to run from
Yeah.
Cortez,
We grabbed
Yeah.
the
all of
important
Hunk
stuff.
and Nana's stuff is
Yeah.
in that chest.
Except for Nana's purse. That we
Except for Nana's purse, which also that is
Might not
holding the
be
group
it.
fund right now, so
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
don't give that.
Mhm.
You will see there are a bunch of other bounties and wanted posters here. Nothing crazy, but enough that would catch your eye. There is apparently some pretty high value targets. You can't help but notice there's a wanted poster of a full cat. But apparently by the name of Puss in Boots. And
I feel like being from Spain, I probably know Puss in Boots
the
exists. right?
very
I would
famous
know.
criminal
Yeah.
vigilante Robin Hood-esque. Puss in Boots
I-
has a 1 million gold bounty on his head.
Jeez, I have to ask, is there also a egg?
An egg?
Like Humpty Dumpty from the
Oh.
movie?
There is a faded egg poster, kind of like Miguel. It's got a 40K on it. But yeah, it's kind of like Miguel. Like, this was put up a while ago. Hasn't done
I'm
much
just
else
curious.
left. No, yeah, it's covered.
This
Is
this
there
could be a strat of like if we as a party want to hunt down one of these, and then like you said, just have Shell bring it in.
Yeah.
Is there a donkey?
No donkeys. There are, though, when you say animal, there's a raccoon on there, too, for 400,000.
Oh.
Wanted by Far, Far Away
Perfect.
and England, apparently, for big crimes. And 2 others for about 300,000, kind of like Tullio and some of you guys.
Wait.
A dude that is blue, and another dude that is blue, but almost looks like a half-orc.
It's
very
was
odd.
the Union in Far, Far Away?
Oh, Far, Far Away in England are strong allies.
Oh, so they did crap.
It's kind of like how
here.
Egypt, they're buddies enough where they say,
I was
hey,
not
can
like,
you
how
put
did
up our
I
poster for
somehow
me?
miss they had a whole arc here that I didn't know about?
No, yeah,
it was just because of their English shenanigery. I see.
So you guys would notice these wanted posters are starting to pop up for a lot of the parties. Y'all are making waves.
That makes sense.
As you finish passing through the city, you will see there is a large statuesque library near some of these much nicer high-rise buildings. That upon entering you will see is the Far, Far Away Public Library, but that has been scratched off most places as the big sign is the Royal Charming Institute of Learning. The RCL is a grand building about 4 stories, beautiful marble columns, very Grecian in design, but as you enter in, immediately has that musty old book smell that you guys are pretty accustomed to just from both living your lives.
Do they have a card catalog?
They do have a card catalog. As you come up, you see a small little wizened fairy leaning over, like writing on the cards in her own hand, which explains why the cards are printed so small. Looks up. All right, dearies. Are you here for some books?
Yes, ma'am.
Woo! You see, she does a little finger wag in the air as this fairy. Gotta love books. As this fairy, like that very old fat fly kind of wings flutters over more to sit in front of
Should
you.
we be concerned that she's a fairy?
Do you think though, like you met the fairy godmother? She was like person sized. This is like a 4-inch tall fairy.
Oh, okay. Simple in size.
Yeah, right. But like 80, 90, or she by our standards.
Is fairy like a common race that we see a lot?
Enough these days. Like it's very much still one of the more uncommon races, but like every so often you're like, oh, there's fairy, because they more stick to the woods. But yeah, you'll see them in city.
Fairies are technically fae, right?
Fairies are technically fae.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
Not
for her, for me as DM. Yeah, you're good.
I know that in some lore, Fae can't lie. Is that the same lore here?
No, Shen can absolutely lie.
Shen can absolutely lie. Yeah, it seems like fae can totally lie.
I just want to double check that, like,
Yeah.
misusing zone of truth, and that's
It's that like
Having
unless
traveled with him in the moon campaign, he can lie.
unless there is a certain type of fae that have that. For a general, they seem more like to play by still their rules, but not terribly.
okay.
Terrible.
I just want to check more.
There
Okay.
might be a variety.
What books you looking for?
How do we explain this?
Could I say that on our way here, I gave a reminder to everyone about something?
Remember, lie. Yeah, no, yeah.
No, not remember lie, but like last time we were here, every place that we visited had an alarm button if we asked the wrong questions. So, just a
Yes,
reminder
that
to
passive, like,
that.
you always got to be careful of the type of questions.
Yeah.
We were wondering about the different planes of existence in the worlds that we live in. Like, we've heard about a couple different ones. Do you have, like, a list or something? And, like,
Are
what's
you
the-
from the wizarding schools or magic users trying to hop the planes? Oh, my hip.
We're
You
just
know there's stuff
enthusiasts.
with the Seal of Merlin being out of this plane from my dream.
Somehow it's hidden, yeah. It's,
Yeah, we could say we've got like a wizardy friend.
Yeah, we've got
who want
friends.
us to like
Oh.
check this out.
good friends. Well, yes, we have. Let me get the card. That big old wings going 200 miles an hour as she moves 2 inches a second. Eventually lands down by a little filing cabinet, and you see she like scuttles her way in just into straight filing cabinet. You hear after a few minutes. Oh, got it. Pulls out a little note card. All right, 4th floor. You're gonna go all the way up and all the way down, and then you're gonna go all the way up again. And then you'll find we have most of our planar existence books and tomes up there. Remember, no magic permitted in the library. No food if you're handling documents older than 20 years. And try to keep the noise down. It upsets the book gremlins.
Thank you, ma'am.
Book what?
The book gremlins. And you see she points, and previously passively unnoticed, there are straight up weird goblin looking things that are like scuttling roach-like over shelves of books that are putting back books, taking out books, like moving around. They're quite lovely little creatures, but they'll tear your flesh from bone in seconds if you make them mad. So we keep the noise down.
Good to know. Okay.
Yeah, with that chilling remark, you guys head off to the 4th floor, easily finding this section. Both you can make me history checks to start kind of looking through planes of existence of Dremor.
How's your history?
+1. I just rolled, so I'm happy to roll with advantage. Or you can.
Well, I've got a
you can
+3,
ignore
it
it.
looks like. But not when I roll that too.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I got 15 +1.
So
I
16.
can guidance her.
Oh, yeah, guidance. Yeah,
You,
hold on.
you wanted to. Yeah, I probably should have just let you do it because you have better history than I do. That's a +3, so 16, so it's 19.
19. Elizabeth, you start pawing through some of these books, turning through some of the stuff making sense. The main planes of Dremor, you have the mortal plane. It's the center of most of the cosmos, most magic, and things settle here, almost like a sediment. The upper planes, of course, are more lawful and celestial in alignment. The lower planes more chaotic and necrotic. There are records, of course, of heavens and hell. The major that have been locked away, more that this book is theorizing, just like more abstract concepts. Again, no one's ever seen angels and demons, and you're like, well, get in line, buddy. You are also looking beyond this, of course. Wrapped around the mortal plane is the elemental planes of fire, water, earth, wind that subdivide and divide. There are technically planes for almost any major element, elements of steel, elements of lava, elements of cheese, and elements of sulfuric acid.
Can I go to the place with elements of cheese?
Yeah, I mean, like, magic, usually conjuration magic is just you're opening tiny little portals into elements of planar elements and saying, like, hey, I'm casting Firebolt. I'm just gonna grab it from the plane of fire. That's kind of how most of those summonings work. You're also noticing, though, of course, there is well-documented evidence of the Fey planes. The Fey planes act as more of a mirror, some say, to our world, of the plane of Feywild and the plane of Shadowfell. These planes act very much in the idea of the Feywilds are usually more lawful and good in their alignment, and the Feywilds more chaotic and evil. From your size on 19, they have been said to have been accessible and de-accessible over the centuries and millenniums. Many things have changed, most notably back in the Third Age of the World. A king that ruled in far, far away, or what they know as Camelot at the time, known as King Arthur, took it upon himself and his knights to seal away the Feywilds in Shadowfell. Through greater magics of the wizards and witches of the time, to keep them from overrunning the world. Record states of dark trolls, and the word is gum-gum, is what they keep using in the text, but that these trolls threaten to destroy Camelot and the wide world, and so Arthur helped seal them. Ever since then, about the Third Age, most people agree they've been very inaccessible to our plane. Anytime you would find it, great wizards and witches who can singularly travel, planar travel of pushing just themselves, have been able to glimpse or document the strange oddities and horrors alike that they find there, but the openings, as one would say, are not existent yet. This is very odd, Elizabeth. As you remember, there were times back in your long life you have been technically to both, maybe just in passing, nothing crazy, either to find hoard or just explore and travel, right? Very much live your life.
Right.
But with this book saying about everything, a lot of stuff that Fen is talking about does seem to line up.
Mm-hmm.
Most of what they say about Shadowfell is very dangerous. But the same is exactly said of the Feywild. Feywild deal in law and order and trickery, and the Shadowfell deals in trickery, evil, and malicious contempt, malicious compliance. Right? They, as much as the Fae say, yes, you didn't technically say we couldn't steal your toes, the Shadowfell says, oh, great job, you made a really great contract. We're going to kill you just because we feel like it, right? It's that both are very dangerous.
Which lines up with what Pitch said as well, that they
Exactly.
do contracts. Is that someone knocking?
No, I moved the chair.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
In Shadowfell, though, Tulio, you and Elizabeth will both find a record of Queen Mab. Antithesis to the leaders of the Fae, Oberon and Titania of the Feywild. Queen Mab is very much legend. Not much is written about her, simply that she does exist, that the occupants of the Shadowfell speak of her in their dark dealings from these old texts, but that she is an enigma, truly a mystery. What you're seeing here is that from the lack of information here, Fen does have a pretty good chance of leading you. But in regards to what you were all looking at, Morgana Le Fay was one of the witches at
And
the
she
time.
was literally called LaFay.
Yeah, Morgana Le Fay. Named after her magics. She, as far as these records say, was also a archfey, a powerful creature with lineage very mysterious. Archfey is probably just because she had enough going on biologically that Fae was the easiest thing to call her.
So, like, even if she's not Mab herself, she might be, like, descended from.
I was thinking that too.
That's kind of the thought. I think Megan saying it very perfectly is because she was technically a part of the crew that helped seal away Shadowfell and Feywild.
Interesting.
So she worked with the angels to seal it.
It wasn't
She
angels,
worked
it
with
was like Merlin
King
and
Arthur and Merlin.
That's the lore, even from Disney, fits then with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
is she was a part of that. She helped. Of course, then the lore says later on she sired a son, a bastard son with Arthur. Technically not her son biologically, but like through magics. Arthur's biologically because she enchanted him to cheat with another woman, and so it's also technically hers. It's weird.
That's weird.
Yeah, don't look too closely into Camelot lore. But basically, it's like eventually she did turn though on Camelot and was slain somehow by Arthur and the knights before Arthur succumbed and the once and future king died. And many scholars maybe await his one day resurrection or someone similar, but it's probably never going to happen.
So is she still alive? So wait, she's dead.
As far as the record says.
Texts say she's dead, but we don't think she's dead. Is that kind of like the impression?
Based on actually, yeah, some of the stuff you've heard from the other parts, Gabriel, text says dead, but someone out there may be using the moniker.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. What if it's the child who's pretending to be Morgana?
He's dead. Does that say anything about what happened to him?
Enough of the child became a knight, and that knight is who betrayed Arthur and started the fall of Camelot. Most texts
That's
agree
why.
that Mordred actually was his name. But most historians agree like Mordred was killed by either Arthur, one of his knights. Like Mordred definitely like was one of the bigger catalysts to the fall of this great long ago kingdom. But like he like Morgana Le Fay is that like, and she was vanquished. Mordred's like he got stabbed. Like it was that like he died. Like
So we're pretty sure he's dead.
exactly.
Yes.
He's dead. Okay.
Mason knows for a fact he's dead from a one shot from a different campaign.
Yep.
But yes, that's something the books say.
Okay, so just to put it under there, I don't think they're the same person, but I think they're related.
Yes.
Exactly. Which that does provide then very helpful knowledge before entering the Shadowfell. Speaking then of knowledge, Moses and Bob, as your companions head off to the library, you head more to the less frequented parts of the city. the Temple Rose. There are a lot of different chapels here. Again, there's a lot of different gods in this world. Far, Far Away really does do a job of like, let's put up one for everyone because it invites clerics and holy men. Would you be trying to go for more of like one to Zephim, one for like the Lord, or just in general maybe trying to look for one that has clerics or more writings?
I'd say probably more specifically Zephim.
More Zephim to start.
If there's like obviously it's not going to be Saint Uriel, but if there's something like that we see like to that effect, that'd be cool. But I think Zephim is where we want to start.
I see that, but also if we were exchanging advice before splitting, I think mine would be that like they obviously left that stuff talking to their prophet Moses. So would other like splinters maybe have more stuff that it's like if the angels are obviously keeping stuff from their like prophets, is it that like we look for the conspiracy theorists and like not the like sanctioned ones are the ones who will tell you what Michael wants you to know?
It was all an inside job.
No, I think that's just as much as Bob gives that clerical insight of like, remember guys, questions, we want to be very truthful but keep our things. Tulio as a con man, remember, like, look for the people that don't want you to know the truth. Like, it's a very clever, like, that exchange of knowledge as you guys are going. You guys head off then, looking, of course, there's a temple to Zephim here. Very much, shall I say, Islamic in design, right? More of a mosque, right? But along these ideas, you see that temple, there are other just houses of religious knowledge. Like, not true libraries, but like places where it's like, hey, here's a convening of, for people seeking like, hey, I think I need a religion, I need a god to help me as a cleric or a paladin, like, go to get information. A frequently asked question, travel care kind of place. As you can both then head inside, the first thing you'll notice is there's a figure standing, simple robes, who when they turn kind of shocks you. Half of their face is gone. It has been melted away, I think, to the idea of like, maybe not burn, but some form of like acid burn has taken away about most of their face to where you can see where an eye was supposed to be, but it's been melted over. The other half you would assume is elven, or at least half elven to that extent. This person turns, you see they say, welcome, traveler, as Bob, you're technically hidden until you want to reveal yourself. Are you here seeking knowledge and enlightenment from gods or power?
That I am.
You see, they take a bit of holy water and put it on your forehead. Come and be cleansed. What has led you here? Pain? Strife?
More strife.
Yes. Strife of family. Strife of friends. And you see part of some of their national tradition, strife of religions.
Yeah.
Indeed. Lay your worries here, friend. Let us talk plainly, and you shall feel true peace. You see this elven person, they turn. I devote myself here as caretaker. You may refer to me as caretaker. I see divinity in many of gods, many powers, both good and evil, both elemental and concrete. Tell me, to which are you drawn?
Repeat that for me one more time.
You see they're saying they caretake both good and evil, gods and monsters, elemental and concrete, the metaphysical and physical. Because they're like...
essentially, they don't turn anyone away.
Exactly. It's that like, hey, if you worship like the ancient Asmodeus demonic force, like, okay, let's talk about it, right? Like, they're very much like, it's truly a house of like belief. Because it's not truly a temple here, it's a everyone.
Okay, let's go gods and monsters.
Of course. Come. And you see, as Bob, you're kind of peering out of this ball that, you're kind of like a rugby ball, basically, but you guys are led down one of these halls into a small altar and sepulcher laid in stone are a bunch of different scrolls that this elven person rolls away, and you see they turn to you. many gods and many monsters that walk in Dremor. Those of chaos and those of order. Do you seek for chaos, or do you seek for order? You see, there are those that seek both. There is, of course, the greater spirits. The spirits of war and death walk amongst both law and chaos. They are not any respecter of persons. You see, they pull out another scroll. There are the gods of the elements, wild, working in both ways that is controllable and immaterial. And you see, they're going to roll an insight check on this. But I'm curious why one who seems strongly touched by the divinity would seek out those other than what is natural.
Because when we face supernatural forces,
Then you are open with your eyes and heart to the true nature of the world. You see, they stop. Their face kind of grimaces just for half a second. Speak plainly with me, that I may help you.
We've got ourselves into quite a pickle here. First off, what do you know of Zephyr?
Zephyr, the Lord, the one above, Father of order and light. You see, they will pull out a scroll, very much like the Torah, maybe a little bit thicker, you're noticing. And it was said that Zephyr, highest of gods of order, created the world amongst 7 days. His children, the angels, created man, his creation. And lo, one, Lucifer, was stricken. And you see they look up, eye-piercing into you, Moses. Damned and sealed away. Zephyr is the god of order. But you seek both, you say. You see he turns and pulls out a small book. For Zephyr had sister. Zephyr and his sister. For he is order and she is chaos.
No, he's talking about Eris.
Oh, okay. I was like, did I miss something?
Yeah, it's not like wait. You see, they look up. The sister must be with the brother, and the brother the sister. They are of the same. For what he creates, she unravels, but what she misorders, he judges. Zephyr is the god of order, but Rixia, upon her name is chaos. You see, he stops. Tell me, chosen one, what do you carry with you? I roll a nat 20 insight for their bigger, like, actual roll.
this is Bob.
Hello, Robert.
You see, I hold out a hand.
Invisible hand.
They kind of put a palm open to allow the invisible hand touch. You honor me, Vegetarian. I'm aware of your kind and their purpose in religion and faith. You
Not
both.
everyone is.
This is true. This is why I exist here as caretaker. To be caretaker of faith and belief. You see, as they kind of close the book on Rixiel, this goddess chaos, and start rolling up scroll, there is much to be learned of Zephyr and Rixiel, as his story has been told by the hosts, by the Vegetarians, and by man who serve him. but none serve chaos. None in living memory. Speak again plainly, for I may serve. You see this eye, it's a very crystalline white of this half-elf, but looks very genuine again, like, alright, what next? Kind of in that vibe.
How does he know that you're a chosen?
Nat 20 insight.
Nat 20 insight. He gets the good vibes,
Yeah,
it sounds
yeah.
like. Again, you don't get to be
Can
caretaker.
I insight him?
Yeah, please do.
I want to figure out, like, obviously he's saying that he's trying to serve us, but, like, is he actually being honest with that?
That's a great insight. Yeah, roll for it.
24.
The caretaker.
17.
You're noticing the caretaker seems a little bit older than they appear. Maybe not like Elizabeth or yourself, but definitely has seen a lot. The caretaker, though maybe very aware of certain divinity and role you both have, seems very genuine in this is my duty. This is how I serve and show faith is through help. You don't think they have ties to local government and ordinance and the laws of man, shall we say.
Okay. What do we want to find out from him?
Should we ask more about changelings?
We can ask about that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know if he sounds like he's familiar with vegetarians.
Mm.
So I think we can start with the changelings, but I'd like to see if there's any way he can help me remember more.
Yeah.
Ah.
So start with the changelings and then work towards the vegetarians of that bigger lore. You can bring up changelings.
This is about him last time.
It was about you, because you asked, was there anything
At this point, comes and comes. Yeah, it's like kind of both. Like it's a bit of both, bit of everything.
I'm like, no, don't.
And it is what it is.
Holy people, they fall into holy comas.
It's supposed to yes, comes and goes.
Universe.
We just start hitting.
Holy comas.
Listen, Moses wanted to be killed. Bob wants to be knocked out.
That was your idea.
It's true.
Line's gonna show up next week and say, "Hey guys, drug me, and I'm gonna see the universe." And you know. Right.
That's a very Minareth thing.
You can bring up changelings to the caretaker. You see, they look at you. Changelings. Now that is an odd question for beings of faith like yourself. And you see, he turns, kind of starts fingering through different scrolls, pointing things out, looking, putting away. A changeling is an interesting being. Many have been recorded, none have been noted, but faith exists nonetheless. And you see, he pulls out an old leather-bound scroll that, as he cracks it, a seal breaks. The smell of dust, almost asthmatic in the air. The changelings worship. They have queen and god. Mab of night, dark of heart, she gives faith to a changeling. And a changeling gives undying servitude. Note I say she gives faith. For her powers are not that to give divinity. She's but idol, not God. And you see they kind of like blink their eye again, almost in that pain again of just maybe so much knowledge. It's kind of hard to tell just on what's going on with the caretaker, but they stop. Changelings and Queen Mab have existed as they exist in a form of botched love and botched faith. Queen Mab is dangerous. She seeks for that which would upset natural order. She seeks for Godhead. But she cannot provide faith. Not like the Chaos Sister and the Orderly Brother. So he slowly rolls up the scroll after reading, and you see he like pulls out wax and starts resealing the scroll. Speak clearly that I may serve you. As he starts pressing the wax ready for his next question.
What do you know about the origin of vegetarians?
Neither belief but creation. I have seen Vegetanian, you hold faith and belief, but as he kind of looks at you, you are missing much. But what is faith if not withheld the knowledge? What is belief but understanding of what exists you seek as others have done before? See, he slowly looks over. I cannot give you this answer, but you know one who can. You see, he stops. I am honored. And you see he will speak in Celestial, which I believe you both speak. Lord Gabriel, you bless me with your presence of mind. I will leave you for the two seekers of truth. As he bows to almost nothingness, looks at you both. He is coming. And he's going to walk out of the room.
Gabriel's coming?
Gabriel's coming.
Should we follow?
Well, I think it's that he's leaving
us
so you
for
guys can have
Gabriel to
privacy.
I mean,
I
we
want to
can't.
follow.
You can if you want to, actually.
Here, Bob, you go.
I will.
You bounce after the
Can I,
caretaker.
try and do it stealthily?
Yeah, make me a stealth check. As Moses, Bob follows the caretaker. And in a slight breath, you feel someone behind you. I apologize for my absence.
You alright, Gabriel?
I overstepped according to
Oh, wait.
Michael. You turn. Gabriel has a cut from neck down to chest.
Jeez.
Yeah, that sounds about right for Michael.
We just need to get level 20 so we can kill him. I hate him so much.
You don't technically have to be level 20, but
So Gabriel was coming to us, not to a different room.
Yes.
Okay, right. Then can I stay here?
yeah, okay. Sorry, if that was. I thought it was just that, like, oh, I know he's coming, but I was gonna.
Gabriel, and I was
I
like,
thought you
oh,
wanted to still talk to the caretaker.
No.
Gabriel looks at you both. I see you found the caretaker. They are an odd creature. They have
Gathered that.
sought nothing but knowledge of faith.
Everyone's gonna have a purpose.
You see him, Gabriel looks very genuine that, of course, without purpose, we are but chaos. What can I assist you with?
It's mostly just. What would you say, Bob? Would be the best help? Would be taking on Queen Mab?
An answer to all of the questions in the universe.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding.
All right, yeah,
42.
I've got like an hour
42, yeah.
before I should probably get back to my duties, but yeah, let's start. Where do you want to begin? You said Queen Mab? She is a dark creature of Shadowfell, born out of the pit and despicable nature of chaos, cultured by Fey magic. She arrived about when Oberon and Titania did, back at the foundings of the world. She is old, ancient, has many ties, and like we've discovered, she's using the changelings to enact power. The caretaker was right. Mab has long wanted to become a god. But changelings are not beings that can offer divinity. They are a cursed creature, seeking only to mirror what is natural of the world. When we speak of divinity, she needs human worship. That could explain why she started sending out changelings.
Start building up the Church of Mab.
You see Gabriel says, right, well, Mab's one thing. The caretaker spoke to me in my mind. You had questions about your creation, they said.
Yes. I think I'm older than I think I am.
Would you like me to check?
Yeah, and if you could restore any memories, that'd be great.
He puts fingers on you. Immediate, that like just like Uriel, because again, the hand, the physical posturing. Stops for a moment. You are a very unripe tomato.
Like, young?
Old.
Like you got snipped too.
Stale.
Oh, that kind of unripe.
Like, too
overripe.
far ripe.
Yes.
Overripe?
Yeah.
Is that what they call it? Overripe? Yes. I don't eat food, so I'm not sure of this terminology.
I'd be mushy.
Yes, you are a mushy tomato.
Ooh, you got two. You got the comparative.
Yeah.
But
How old am I?
I'm not sure. Your memories are not gone. They are not faded, they are taken. I cannot restore them when they are taken.
Can you see my memories? If you can't restore them, can you tell me any of them?
I might. I am the angel of divination, but you may not like what I find.
I'll take whatever you can give me.
Oh boy.
He says it may be safer to do this with the rest of your friends, as I have to put you back in the memories.
Okay.
Excellent. Now, again, I have a little bit of time before I need to go back. Merlin has been draining me dry. He's very frisky.
Alright.
I see your face. Let me assure you, Moses, this is completely non-sexual. I have been assured of this.
Good to know. Now, Michael did ask me to try and find the seal of Merlin.
Don't. I may have something. You see, for the first time, you don't think you've ever seen Gabriel look embarrassed before? This is one of the first real emotions maybe on his face, besides just like stern seraph. You see a little bit of embarrassment. I may have something to do with that.
That's good to know.
It may affect you all soon, too. I have been working with Merlin on something.
Alright, that's really good to know, since Michael asked me to try and find the seal for him.
Of course.
Our sake, is there any information, maybe not specifics, but any information that we need to know on that?
Hopefully soon, we may have a way to hide you from both heaven and hell's eyes permanently.
Oh.
That would be really cool.
Unfortunately, it is locked through time.
Frickin'
Merlin has been
romancers.
sucking out my power to use it to try to send champions back in time to find this hidden power.
Alright.
As kind of coming out as DM, bit of our Halloween one-shot, fun fact.
You also gotta know since we're taking time out. Oh, go for it.
Yeah, question?
After session, I just want to ask about details about that. Just like.
Yeah.
like
No, yeah.
You have to know, working with Merlin, the reason I laughed is the party where Merlin showed up, it was that full, like, they had one of the party members called Gabriel, and he showed up, and Merlin just, like, jumped on.
They didn't explain to
They, like,
Merlin
didn't
that Gabriel's an
explain
ally to you
this
guys.
really
All Merlin knows, an angel showed up, so Merlin was ready to shank him, basically. He jumped on his back, tried to kill him, and they're like, you don't have a friend. And Merlin's like, oh, that's totally different.
It's like, this is what working with Merlin looks like,
It
and
was-
I just had that visceral image of
They
Merlin
did
on
not
Gabriel's
explain
back.
whatsoever that this was an ally, just like, we're summoning angel. Merlin's like, got it, and just like squared up.
To be fair, Merlin is actually insane.
Yeah.
It's Merlin. Gabriel then will turn, let's find your allies. Are they in the city?
Yes. They're in a library.
Elizabeth and Tulio, suddenly you are in the library with Gabriel, Moses, and Bob.
I was gonna say, I think I jumped in at the last second, remember not to say anything too loud because the gremlins.
Okay, I totally would not.
I know. I'm going to make a pure luck roll. No.
Oh, we're all gonna
It
die.
went from a 20 to a 2. It was a cinematic. I'm like, ooh, a nat 20.
If
I need you all to roll initiative as it
Can
was
we
the.
not like guidance or bardic the roll?
It added 2. It's not going to help at this point.
That is a nat 13, total of 15.
I will say, with Gabriel here, it should be
That's
easier.
fair.
Yeah.
10.
13, 10. All right, so did anyone get 20s or higher? Oh, I should roll for Shell and Miguel and Fen, who is here too, because Gabriel basically just went, let's reconvene. Miguel got a nat 20.
Muscadine.
Shell got a 7, and Fen got an 18. Anyone else? 15 upward. Oh gosh. Did anyone get 10 to 15?
Yeah.
Okay, Bob.
10.
Moses.
15.
And Elizabeth.
13. That's cool.
I know I finished making these. And 8. So you're right before Chell. Gabriel will act
this
as
is the first
pigeon.
time I'm not right next to Miguel in the order.
Oh.
That was such a
Yeah.
fun streak, like, story.
I know it says pitch. It's like I'm working on like ones
I
I
was
can
so scared. I was
customize.
like, what do you mean pitches?
Pitch. No,
Is
it is.
that the Gremlins?
No, that is Gabriel.
Gabriel.
I'm starting to work on like custom ones that I can write. Same, 2 halves of coin.
Makes it I'd way rather hang out with Gabriel than Pitch.
Mm-hmm. Just like, he's getting fun. Like, he showed you guys emotions.
He's
Yeah.
starting to change. The more he hangs out with
I like how
humanity.
he gets embarrassed when he says that he's draining dry. And like, all
It's a very embarrassing, not sexual though. Yeah, but yeah.
See, the fact that he thinks about having to say that now. Like, I don't think he would.
Elizabeth, I will say it's not just you. Chell and Miguel and Fen, who were in a very loud tavern talking and trying to like blend in, suddenly are in the middle of the library. We're supposed to stay quiet. It was more than just you, is how I'm flavoring the two. Immediately hissing and like of little book gremlins start crawling out of the walls. Currently, there are about 10 of them that just crawled in and around you guys.
Okay, in my defense, you wouldn't have known about being quiet in the library.
Exactly. Yeah, like a lot.
But you didn't know you were going into a library.
It's that like suddenly you're in a library. You're like, what the? Miguel goes first. Miguel's going to hold his turn just for that like, what's going on? Gabriel just like, what are these creatures?
They're the library gremlins. They eat us if we're not quiet.
So we kill them.
Yes.
Or we leave the library?
He is going to angelic. All of you have another +1 to all of your weapons and spell attacks for the next minute.
Attack and damage?
Attack and damage.
Wow.
It is a concentration. It's a concentration thing. It's called mass holy weapon. Basically, is how I flavor it.
Oh, busted.
It's a mass holy weapon that he just goes. Poof. So Gabriel's going to give you all that of like kill them. That makes Moses. That's you.
Alrighty, let's go. Little cone of cold.
Cone of cold. Excellent. You'll be able to hit about half of them. What is the save for them?
Come on, DC 12.
Damn, that's a 17 on the die. Even though they don't have great con, still makes it a synthetic 18. So they'll take half this damage.
Okay. Total of 41, so that's 20 points for each.
Even with 20, half of these gremlins immediately look on death's door, as that's still a lot of damage. Starting to freeze. Ice is hitting the books as you frost them. Just that natural. It's a library. Somewhere library here. Is someone doing something to my books? As the fairy voice starts getting a little mad.
fire. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. But like
It's still.
it's hard not to hit the books unless you're doing just melee right now. Moses, though, excellent turn. Getting that cone of cold. Elizabeth, that's you.
Okay.
Your bonus action range.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I'm in bonus action.
Rage. Gotta love double rage.
I just want to ask logistical questions really quick before I get too far. Is an offhand attack a bonus attack? Like a bonus action?
Yes, it is. So since you just rage, you can't do it this turn, but next turn you can start doing
Oh, I
it.
still have 2 attacks. Okay, so I have my snake nose spitters.
Yep.
So I'm gonna attack.
Snake metal, snettle. So 2 attacks. Oh, do you want to go for the fresh gremlins or the ones that Moses just like got really bloodied?
We'll do fresh and see if I can pick them up.
Cool.
So that's an 8 plus 7.
15 hits exactly.
Oh, okay. Plus I think my rage. So. Okay.
Oh, rage is for damage though, not.
That's for damage. Okay, I was like blinking. Sorry.
Yeah, that.
Oh.
I wish it could be for both. Oh, but you have the +1 weapons right now. Gabriel is giving a constant +1 too. So yeah, 16 technically.
Plus 4 plus my rage.
So 11 plus rage, 13 plus Gabriel's plus 1 weapon, 14. You slash into one, immediately looks horribly hurt.
That's my first attack. It's like 2 times, right?
Yep.
Okay, well that's a 2. So
Damn.
yeah,
Even with the plus, you one looks really hurt, twist, stabs unfortunately just into the floor of the carpet as jumps backward kind of onto the wall there. Excellent turn though, Elizabeth, running over Bob. That's you.
Okay. I don't know about the no magic in the library.
You don't know about the no
Which
magic.
is very fortunate. For
Yeah.
me, because now I can do stuff.
Same with Moses. That let's just kill him.
Word of Radiance. I'm not sure if
Solid.
goblins are susceptible to radiance.
These gremlins technically count as monstrosities, so they're not susceptible, like vulnerable to it, but it'll still hurt.
That's okay. So each creature of my choice that I can see within range must succeed on the Constitution save.
Each creature, that's all 10 of them?
Yes.
My gosh.
That's why I chose this one.
That's
And
so
it
good.
doesn't affect books.
Yeah, Bob, you
So I utter a divine word.
Con save.
Such as die.
That is an 18 on the die. As this holy die goes off, the gremlins do succeed, so they'll half damage, I believe, from it.
I don't think they take any damage.
Right, Word of Radiance is that like
It was like a risky one, but I was like, I can hit all of them and not damage any books.
because it's that solid cantrip. I always forget about it because yeah. So unfortunately they don't take the damage right now, but that is Bob. At the end
That's
of your
okay.
turn, the library gremlins, these book gremlins, rush out. They're going to attack all of you guys currently. So one for everyone, including Fen and Gabriel. And the remaining 2 are going to attack Elizabeth and Moses, the 2 barbarians that were kind of out in front of everyone. So here we go. Their attack, Moses, 11 misses, and a 12 misses. Tulio does, synthetic 18.
Yeah.
That will hit. Please take 6 points of piercing damage. I do need you to make a DC 12 Constitution saving throw.
Oh.
Yes.
6 points, you said?
6 points.
Okay, that
Vampire
is a
rules.
17.
17 gooey glue oozes out of their fanged mouths like book binding glue as they try to lick you like a book and start poisoning you, but you succeed. Bob, one rushes over to you. Warding flare.
Disadvantage.
Cool, because that would have been a synthetic 20 to hit. Damn, still a synthetic 20 because higher of the 2 was 22. I rolled a 15, 17 on the die.
Fair.
So Bob, please take also, fun fact, 6 points of piercing damage and make me that con save. Elizabeth, 2 gremlins are biting you. That's a 10, it's gonna miss. And an 11. Alright, that misses. Miguel, that's a nat 1, and Shell. Shell got barely hit, even with that 19. 12. Hits it, meets it, beats it. It's only a DC 12 anyway. Chell takes 7 points. But Chell's got a busted con save. So Chell also meets it, beats it. The gremlins just rush in. Start. One of them tries to attack Gabriel. It bites, breaks off under his skin. Gabriel just sits there as it bites. Goes, "Are these things like dogs? I've heard about dogs. Are these dogs?"
These are definitely not dogs.
Not dogs. One is going to try to bite Shen. Holy shit, that's a 23. Oh, he's restrained. Has advantage at that. Not a nat 20. So Shen's going to take evasion to half the damage.
Cunning.
Or cunning word. Or
It's something dodge. Uncanny dodge.
uncanny
There
dodge,
is a-
thank you.
Wait, cunning's the wrong
So,
word.
5 half to 2 points of damage for Shen. Easy beats the con save. As Shen just like, keep me alive, as he is tied up, just being bitten by a gremlin. That is Tulio, your turn. With Chell and Miguel on deck.
Here's the thing. The whole point of these is like, they're not like evil creatures, right? They just like run the library, and it's that like we were told
kick a log in the woods and bugs run out from it.
So it's not like, is there any chance, could I like use my turn to make a persuasion check to be like, we're so sorry, we were startled, we'll be quiet now?
Yeah, make a persuasion action. It's
Yeah.
an
That's
action.
a good idea. 18. 3 of the gremlins by you, Shell, and Miguel. They're looking at you.
Yeah, sorry, we were late. And I'm doing the full, like, you know, whisper, just like stage whisper loud enough to be heard by them.
Stage whisper, yeah.
We're so sorry, we got kind of surprised. Our friends like showed up, we didn't think they were here. We will be quiet now. We totally respect the library. There's no need for all this.
These 3, because these were some of the fresh gremlins that didn't get hit, go and just scuttle off into the books. As you get, what are you saying to them? Like full volume, very gay.
They're reacting to the noise.
As you say that, though, at the end of your turn, Tulio, I have to roll a d4. 1 fresh gremlin crawls out of the books, thanks to the still other commotion going on. So there's 8 gremlins. 5, though, horribly hurt and bloodied.
Does anyone have
1.
a silence spell or something?
Miguel has that boat. I'm trying to get to his turn, too. Chell is going to Eldritch Blast, the one that was almost on her.
And does she have agonizing blast?
She does. So she has 2 rolls. That is miss with 1 hit on the other. Boom! As it falls, just like flies 10 feet away on the ground, looking pretty hurt, kind of like the one Elizabeth hit. As Chill's like, these are disgusting. As they kind of are. At Shell's turn, that makes Miguel. Now Miguel doesn't have silence. I shoot. Instead. Oh, it does. Okay.
Is there any chance Lonnie has it, but it's one of those ones she hasn't gotten on her character sheet? Because I feel like that keeps happening with Minareth.
It's not, because this is the bard.
Yeah.
Miguel is going to cast Major Image. The Major Image includes sound spells. Makes a major image of a man, like, what's that range? Holy cow. 120 feet at the end of the hallway, holding a giant pot of chili, going, whoa, and like trying to throw it all over the books, and then pots clanging over, oh no, and like throwing a bunch of stuff to try to get the gremlins away from you guys.
Watching The Office recently.
No, it's just that first thing of like, how do you distract library gremlins? If I was Lonnie playing Miguel, trying to distract gremlins.
Put a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in a book.
Hey, I learned from the best, Nick. That was incredible. Honestly, that was seriously incredible. So yes, dude throwing food everywhere, pots and pans. Whoa! The gremlins have to make a check. That is a 13. The 5 of them are bloodied. 2 of them really hurt. 1's fresh. The fresh and 2 hurt ones immediately like and start scut. So Elizabeth and Shell, you could make opportunity attacks if you want, but they are heading for this pretend image. So save your opportunity attack, let them go. Out of the remaining 5, they all look very alarmed by that. Again, that very like, that's also not something we should do, but they're not there yet. So they might be able to be pushed over, but that will happen. Gabriel is turned still concentrating on your +1 weapons to help kill these things. So we need to be quiet. Excellent. Even his whisper, though, is very gravelly and loud. So he is going to silently smite a gremlin. Oh my gosh, he is disgusting. I always forget Seraphim stats till I look at him. So he is going to... Okay, no, that's going to break the library. Never mind, I'm not going to do that.
Please don't break the library.
That's the fairy.
Yeah, that's... Instead, he is... Oh, interesting. he's going to pull out his blade. Very similar, Elizabeth. Similar style to the Sword of Protection that Pitch had you take, that Adora had. But this blade looks silvery in light and rapid handle. As he is going to... That is very much 2 hits on a 37 and a 34. Hit this target. I'm going to roll the damage. This one of the remaining 5 gremlins is gone in a burst of fire and smoke and holy light, and the other one wish it never existed and therefore did so and just poofs as he kills 2 of the remaining 5. There's only 3 left, all bloodied. As Gabriel says, "We are killing them quietly. Understood." Boom, boom, like huge divine radiance explosions, basically, as he smites them. Most back to you. There's only 2 left. They do seem very intrigued by the major image that the others are now all running off to.
Alrighty. No. Let's go with another word of radiance.
Another word of radiance. So the remaining 2, do you want to try to also do the ones that are technically running, or do you just want to more be like, no, let's get the 2 that are in combat?
Let's get the ones that are in combat.
Sweet. Making that con save. What's in that one?
Yeah.
That's 2d6 radiant.
10 damage.
Yeah, what does your radiance look and sound like as you kill these last 2 with pure divine talking?
Just like the Red Sea collapsing back in on itself, that rushing, roaring water.
As explosion they explode. Moses, at the end of your turn, you hear, "In my library!" As something is getting very close, maybe only a floor away. As Moses, at the end of your turn, the remaining ones, as long as Miguel focuses on the major silent image, or major image, because it's not silent.
Ask Gabriel to take us back to our inn before this gets here.
Yeah, because we are coming out of initiative, but yeah, it's that split second. All right, now we can talk.
Can we go to our room first? Can you take us to our room?
Where's your room?
The trickster inn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's where you got these 2 from.
Excellent. We immediately come out of initiative as you are suddenly back in the Trickster's Tavern.
Whenever I hear fairy, I think of the rat that Thumbelina had on that witch in Oz, and I don't want to face that.
That would have been a 90-year-old Thumbelina who's having fun, doing her best life in the library, and someone just cast magic that she now has to unthaw before the books mildew. Immediately, you are back in the exact same booth Miguel and Jill can say that they were taken from, as if nothing had happened. Again, it was only a couple rounds, thankfully, so no one got there. Sitting there.
Thank you.
Now we can do it.
All right. I'm sorry, I forgot. What am I doing again?
Restoring or putting Bob back in the memory.
Right. You all lead very, very quick, fast lives. All right. For catch-up, Tulio, Elizabeth, I'm about to send you into Bob's memories. Don't let him die in there, or he might become a vegetable.
Yeah, that's
Alright.
not good.
Yeah.
Apparently, I'm very mushy already.
Mushy, mushy.
What does that mean?
It's alright.
Don't eat it. He's old.
Okay,
We
yeah.
already knew that he was old.
You did.
Well,
Who's
we like
older, me
just
or
found
him?
out when he woke up from
Do
his
you want
weird
him to
vision thing.
check your mind?
No, not really.
Okay. Not like, never mind. As Gabriel handles it. All right. As long as you're comfortable. Again, this is an adventure time. There are people gambling. Some dude's getting stabbed in the corner. People are shouting over each other. Like, it is a hotel for adventurers.
I guarantee you no one is watching us, but are you watching Shake while we're in Bob's mind?
You see, he turns as Finn is sitting there, still nursing a wound under his bindings of the gremlin. Yes, let me be babysat by the seraph.
Yep,
As
that's the
Gabriel's
debate.
fine. As he will put you all into Bob's memories. As immediately from the tavern, your body feels empty and lifeless for about a minute until, Bob, you find your bearings. You are on a stem. You are in a pot. You're starting to see this. Bob, I will have you know, you have hit points right now. You have an AC. But you are a level 1 tomato.
Oh no.
Being a cleric with your con score, you have 9 hit points.
Oh no.
But an AC of 11. And if you die here, there's no game with death. That is
fair
it.
enough. Yeah.
Be aware of this. And that is something Gabriel kind of already was saying. Make sure he's alive. That's why you guys that he's sending, you will also have your abilities, hit points, but you are as if you're your own levels right now.
Okay.
Are you sure you want to do this?
We're doing this.
Okay.
Bob,
Late to turn back.
you look around. You see eventually your friends standing. They look spectral, like ghosts. Not really here because they are both existing in your memory and in real life. Yes.
And I guess this might not work anyway because it's a dream and we don't, I guess, physically have stuff with us. But my thing I was going to ask was, because, like, I got new armor when we robbed Mary Bobbins, and so my thought was, like, do I still have my old leather armor, and can I, like, configure sleight of hand, like, something together to help buff Bob so he's not, like,
I
as
have to be
insta-killable?
so mean as a DM, even if you had it with you.
It's that because we're in a dream, I don't physically have it with me.
Even if you had it with you and this was the real world, you can't take human leather and fit it to a tomato in any sort of quick time.
Okay.
It's a little tough.
So I'm still on the stem, so I can
You're still on
infer
the
that this is before.
For what you saw.
Okay.
Wait, you're on a stem?
Yeah.
He hasn't
You
been
all see
snipped yet.
Bob is on a small little potted plant as all of you are hit with the smell of blood. Harsh iron and rotting flesh. You are in, for lack of a better word, a torture chamber.
Oh, look,
There-
this is before the binding.
Before the binding is Bob. Yeah, you are a plant here.
Are we in Eden, though? Do we recognize it? Do we
This
know
is
where we're
Raiden. This is a windowless room filled with torture racks, devil symbols made of iron bound to the floor with shackles inlaid, as well as angelic six-sided star symbols. There are weapons and tools here. As you will hear 2 voices. One is Uriel. One, Moses, is Michael.
Is this in Celestial?
This is in common because you are hearing it through Bob's ears.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it primordial for me?
It's celestial for you right
Okay.
now. Yes. I'll make that distinction. Yeah. But Bob, you're able to know it celestial, but again, through his memory, through their
That
minds.
makes sense, though, for primordial to be the language of the gods, but then celestial to be the language of the angels.
Yeah.
Michael is speaking first as you see them walk into the room. Wonderful, Uriel. I believe we should be close at hand to finishing this war. Michael comes in. He is covered in black blood and armor, as if they have just come from war. You see Uriel, dead eyes, same armor, even bloodier, and it's not theirs. Wonderful. Now, you wouldn't mind. We have one of those lieutenants coming by. We do need to know where they're hiding out that platoon over in the South Asian Ocean. It sounds like you can handle that, can't you, Uriel? You see Uriel doesn't say a word, just pulls out a long set of pliers, and you see Uriel goes, even demons have teeth. You see Michael goes, wonderful, brother. Talk later. And he vanishes. Uriel kind of stands up, looks a little straight, and comes over to you, Bob. Alright, let's see. What do you need there, friend? Picks up a little bottle, kind of squirts you. Thank you! Oh, good, you're talking.
Is Bob his therapy plan?
You see Uriel finally smiles.
Emotional support tomato.
Bob, your eyes are flickering. It's tough because again, so he's covered in so much dirt and sweat and no blood. It was blood and gore, but as he looks at you, he is smiling. How are you there, buddy?
Doing good.
Good on you, Robert. You're growing so strong. Oh, you're still a little green in places. Oh, Robert. Let me ask you, Robert. What is it like to grow?
I mean, it's fun to learn.
Yeah. Oh, I bet it is, isn't it? Here. He takes a little small packet out. Has to shake off gut on it, but I found fertilizer. The humans, Adam's spawn, have made this.
Yes.
It's like dung from their animals, but it helps you. Here, as he helps pack it in. First kind of fertilizers, packs it in. I hope this makes you nice and strong, buddy.
When do I get to go? When do I get to
Oh,
go teach?
no. I can't let you teach yet. That's... He kind of stops, rubs his eyes. You're just too full of angelic knowledge, aren't you? I gotta start again. Yeah. Clips you and buries you in the soil. As Bob, you feel kind of nothingness. All of you watch a time lapse of another tomato start growing on that same vine, same stem. As he clips you, we cut. Uriel doesn't look older, but the room around is now starting to have, there's a couple demons on racks here in bindings. There is a constant flame of fire around one. One of them is torn in half and is being kept together by celestial bindings. But Uriel is over. All right, Robert. Hey, buddy. Hey. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hey, buddy. You know you don't remember anything, but you, Bob, do now.
Yeah.
But this new little Robert, how's it going? How are you feeling?
I'm doing good. Good.
Perfect. You look good. Look at that. You're looking much more red. You're like a healthy little
Can I
tomato.
swing around on the vine
He's
like
swinging
in the
around.
show?
You're moving now. You're moving. You're moving. Oh, that's amazing. You all hear a very familiar Uriel, what are you doing? As Gabriel has just appeared. Gabriel, full raiment. He is very clean. He's not like your...
Just like a regular tomato.
As Uriel also stops, maybe trying to be a tomato himself. But you see Gabriel has a sword in one hand and a silver trump in the other. That trumpet. Uriel. As Gabriel walks over, takes a look at you, Bob.
I close my eyes so it's just red.
Just red.
There's no eyes anymore.
This Gabriel looks... This is far beneath you, brother. You already have a noble title, Butcher of Heaven. You do not need to play in dirt like the mortals. See, Uriel recedes back. That joy with you, Bob, just stops. What message do you bring me, brother? See, Gabriel, we need information. Lucifer has moved his armies, and he jerks a thumb. Satan needs to talk. And you see a demon who is wreathed in flame, who is just staring violently, not at either of the angels, but at you. This demon shakes in the fire. Uriel turns. Yes. Let us get information. As per wishes, per making sure everyone feels comfortable, I will not describe in detail. Uriel starts to torture the demon known as Satan. As
Interesting.
this is not Lucifer, this is Satan, the demon of wrath. But this whole time, this demon looks. Oh, what have you brought here? I see this. You, prophets, persons and liars, you are all full of wrath. I see. A tomato. We're not rolling initiative. The demon is about to try to break out. Would you guys like to do anything?
this isn't like real though, right? Like, isn't this like the timeline happened and we're just seeing, or is this we're interfering with the timeline in
I
real?
know, that's what I'm
It might be a little bit. The timeline happened this way because
So
Because we were
this
here,
again,
though?
angelic
Like, are we
divine
actually
intervention can
mess?
really
Yeah.
mess up stuff. And again, as far as you know, he technically can't. But do you
But-
want to risk something to you or Bob? Because he is trying to escape right now. This dude is starting to lash at the holy fire, and you see Uriel, who was mid-car, for lack of a better term, goes, "Down, you beast!" and is also trying to beat him back. What would you guys react in this way?
Almost try to just go grab Bob to keep him safe, but
Um,
I don't know if that's smart.
I think first priority has to be protect Bob while he's squishy, but it's also that, like, do we know what was supposed to happen here with the timeline? Does he get out? Does he not? Do we help or hinder her?
hey, I could use Globe of Invulnerability.
On just us? That could be helpful.
That'd be nice.
And then it's not like,
Cover everyone, including Bob.
yeah, because it's
Yeah.
a pretty good radius, right?
It's a good radius, yeah. It is 10 feet, so as long as we're 10
Yeah,
feet.
so if we
Easy
all just
enough.
cluster
Yeah.
around the pot.
That's a good idea.
You cluster around the pot. Do you, little
Yeah,
brother
like-
with his little fucking tricks.
Boom.
As you see Gabriel, speak not in your words and deception of lies. As Gabriel puts a hand, and he and Uriel both burn holy handprints on either side of the demon's shoulders, screaming in roaring pain. I will remember this. I will find you one day. As Elizabeth, I will say, you didn't actually grab Bob. I'm going to flavor a little bit of naturally, instinctively shielding. You've moved the pot a little bit. Bob shook a little. Not enough to harm him, of course, but it was that, like, you had the thought, but it doesn't happen statistically, mechanically. As Uriel just, like, silence until your tongue grows back and just rips tongue out. Oh. The demon stomps, still shaking, but now more satiated. Gabriel turns. Michael will not be happy for that, because now we can't talk for at least another day. You see Uriel, covered in gourd, goes, I will answer to him. Gabriel leaves, Uriel turns, drops everything and wipes him, turns and notices the pot is moved. Oh, buddy, are you okay? Immediate emotion about, are you good? Are you good? Oh, I'm sorry. You didn't need to see that. You didn't need to see that. It's gonna snip, plant, pushes you further underneath the dirt.
I have a question.
Yeah.
The whole thing is he's been just making more and more Bobs to try and get the perfect Bob. And you always said in the memory when he did snip Bob and let him go to be the Bob we know now, it was that sort of like split second, almost on a whim like
Yeah.
thing. Was he then still making Bobs? And when we do see Bob Jr., was it really actually supposed to be like the next Bob? And so is it too perfect that he named him frickin' Bob Jr.? Like that was supposed to be, that was his new version of you, and he's still spent all
That would
these
be
eons
cool.
trying to perfect the Robert Tomato that was.
That would be cool.
That's, yeah.
Looking at
Julio's
August's
committing to
face,
this theory.
I think it might be very.
Yeah.
Julio, that
Is that a point
But
of
how
That
do
point
you-
of inspiration.
that is a thing.
Call that, thank you.
Do I get a point of inspiration for naming him Bob Jr.? No, I'm just
I,
kidding.
you should, that's
Just
too
kidding.
terrifyingly
No,
perfect.
I have been sitting on that for months. I have been sitting on the fact that
just
you,
had to
as
keep
a
straight
joke,
face while he did that? Oh
you
my
as a joke went Bob Jr. and you all laugh because haha, get it? Nick always makes
That's
Bob,
literally-
and I go,
it
oh,
was
this is going to be such a
Bob
funny
that
conversation
he's
one day.
been
Um,
obsessing over for centuries.
Take a stone of inspiration.
Oh.
Thank you.
I have fun little
Yeah,
stones to
look,
keep
you got
track
really
of.
fun.
That is fun.
Fun things that you can then put in your dice bag, because then it's
That's
easy enough.
perfectly
You
tracked.
have it on your sheet, and then it's
Yeah.
like, oh, I have this.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I forget. Bob regrowing back. A bit of that narrative time skip of this happens a couple times throughout the Holy War. Uriel, the Butcher, gets information from demons, leads the attack. You see his brothers, Raphael, Zadkiel, Sariel, all of them in and out through his palace. At one point, you see Michael as they have finished extracting information, for lack of a better term, from a demon. Ah, Uriel. Wonderful work. I can't wait to come back to your little garden one day. As he looks at you, Bob, but you see he doesn't call you the garden, he's calling the shop a garden. Turns as Bob, you are at the memory. You see, and all of you hear through Primordial Bob, Uriel, it is time. And you see Uriel has stopped, is turning to go. Bob, that split second, as you heard from Bob, snips you but doesn't pot you. Uriel stops, holding this tin snipper in his hand. Grow and learn. Grow and learn. As he turns, Bob, you're not on the stem right now. As Uriel walks away, what would you do?
I think. Where is he walking to?
Out the door. You've never been out the door.
Like the door meaning like the tree where we came in before.
No, the door to the shop.
Do you want to like hop on me and have me stealth after him?
Can you see us?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can see you.
Because
You
he knew
look
we were
like
coming in with
ghosts.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like as ghosts, yeah.
Yeah.
Very transparent, very uncorporeal.
So they can't hop on your shoulder.
Oh god.
I'll follow him.
You follow after. You guys can follow, of
Yeah.
course. As you'll all start realizing you do have movement bound to Bob. You can't go more than really 60 feet away from him. As that's your memory. That's your mind. You hop after, not as fast. But Uriel isn't teleporting. He's not moving. He is walking. Leaving this room. You are in a castle. Coming out of this room, you are in a dungeon, following up the steps. Takes you a lot. This Bob, go ahead and give me athletics checks in your new body. I'll let you know you really have a +0 right now to this.
Oh, that's a 4.
Yeah. Oh,
Can I
what
As I
is
start to lose him.
guidance? Yeah.
Okay.
And
So
Miguel
that's
will
also
give a
D4.
D8 bardic.
D4 and a D8.
D4 and D8. Miguel's almost out.
13.
Beats the DC 10. It hurts to hop. You're like, oh, this is movement. This is stone, and everything is so different now. Moving up the steps after Uriel in this castle that you all immediately realize as a perfected and reconstructed Castle Grayskull. The one you heard Elizabeth talk about, saw in the garden, and its destruction.
I mean, I would assume not reconstructed so much as this was it before it got destroyed.
Reconstructed as if you had to, and yes,
Yeah.
it is its pre-version. Uriel has walked up. In the center of this castle stands 7 beings, including Uriel. Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Zadkiel, Sariel, Uriel, of course, and then with the last, I just realized you see one that from name you could call Inanio. You've never really seen this one. He looks very different from his brother. A lot of these brothers are like, oh, hairstyle and armor really is what changed them. And Ananiel looks kind of different. Ananiel looks a little smaller, a little thinner. You see, as Sarathiel looks, Uriel joins his spot in the circle. As in between them all is a man. Simple hair, no wings, no armor. You see Lucifer stands, looks at you all, and then looks at you, Bob. This tiny little tomato. And he smiles. Michael, silence, smacks Lucifer. Lucifer falls to the ground. Whatever force Michael has was much more than a human fist. Lucifer stops, kind of spits out dark, demonic blood. Well, is this what it's like? Oh, my brothers, are you ready to bind me as Father says? Are you ready to keep me here? You see Uriel is visibly not okay with this, as well as Ananiel, the seventh. They're the only two of these seraph that look visibly shaken. All the others, even Gabriel, pretty stoic. Michael looks triumphant. As you hear, "So it shall be." As they all turn, Uriel pulls out his tools, and you watch as Gabriel, "Behold your sword, Lucifer. Let it be shown and broken." As Zadkiel takes out of nowhere a sword quite corroded and corrupted from Lucifer, and Uriel takes his tools and starts breaking. Molten metal turns to chain, turns to cage, turns to a lot of things. All of you are noticing there's no one way to describe the image, but you are watching the forging of what you could call the first seal, or the seventh, depending on how you go, as he is chained by the seven seraph, his brethren. Lucifer stomps, and like Satan, his passive will notice you all. Lucifer looks into your eyes, Tulia. Looks into your eyes, Moses. Looks into your eyes, Elizabeth. Finally settling on Bob, as he cocks an eye in pain, as you watch his flesh burn, bubble. Everything stops for a moment. As Lucifer stands up, still in chain, but none of the other seraph move. I sense one of my brother's powers. Who are you? What are you? You can't be Michael's. He was not blessed with power like the others. But something is off. You, he points to you, you are marked with necromantic energies. You are both alive and dead. Are you not?
Can I hide when he's?
I will let you know you need a nat 20 stealth check right now with his perception.
I'll try. Well, I'm not trying to hide from him. I'm trying to hide from the angels so they don't know.
Yeah, so like, yeah, I like it. Because that's a
so
much
is
more
that
good.
like who's he talking to and they don't just immediately see you?
Exactly.
What the? Yeah, I see what you're saying, yeah.
That's cool.
Because right now you're stealth at level 1. One last bardic from Miguel that he can
And
offer
guidance.
That's a
guidance.
19.
Plus a bardic.
Guidance.
Although he doesn't have to use the bardic if he doesn't need it, right?
Do you want to keep on 19?
I'd like to keep the
Okay.
bardic. Can I use
Oh,
the
keep it,
guidance
yeah.
though?
Yes.
Yeah, because I have unlimited guidance.
23.
You think you're pretty well hanged because again, these angels in whatever slowed time, disproportionate memorial space have stopped. Lucifer looks at you all. Huh. You seem strange.
Do I have any spells right now?
You have some of your first cantrips and first level
Can I-
spells, yeah.
Message is a cantrip,
That
right?
is.
Can I message Uriel and just say,
As the magic swirl in this place, you feel that you can. As you've never tried magics like Uriel, but why not? You message out.
do what you have to do, I'll be back. I'm gonna leave.
You start leaving. The last thing you all see is Lucifer staring intently as you all must follow Bob, like you physically. Lucifer looks at you all. You are touched by my brethren, and you by my father. Adam Spawn? Oh. Oh, I know you well then. I have tasted of your organs from your forefathers. Yes, you are one of them. A prophet, are you not? Same with you. You are different. And his voice growing fainter and fainter as you leave, Bob. I will remember you all. What are you? Who are you? As they bind me here, I put out my thoughts, my whispers. Bob, you have stepped out of the castle into just as perfect as you remember it. There are things growing here, moving. As you step out, somewhere inside, grand crashing, the castle foundations start shaking and breaking as they bind. The 8th seraph within, you look out amongst the sea of vegetarians not yet given life like yourself. But one day, as you sit here, Bob, 2 things will happen.
What did you
Was it a
roll?
nat 20 or a nat 1?
Bob, on a natural one,
Ooh.
you have the worst one first.
I what?
You have the worst one
Okay.
first. As you hop out, you feel 3 presences before you. You see the wolf,
Oh.
you see a woman, and you see a dragon. As these 3 figures stand, the woman looks at you, scoffs, and walks away. The dragon looks at you, says nothing, and ascends into spiraling light. The wolf stays. Couldn't keep well enough away, eh, Bob? Oh, mi amigo, it's dangerous to look back. As you see the wolf lowers onto his haunches, squatting before you. This is where all began, though. You seek answers. Licks his fangs. Are you ready for answers?
I'll take any answers you can give me. And I'm just gonna play the role of like some innocent dude.
Innocent small, yeah. Death looks at you. You were the project. A sad angel's creation to stave off the horrors he inflicted. You wonder where your memories are. They're locked away with him. He snipped you away, gave you sentience, full of my brother's information and power. But that is it, huh? Etomate, wandering the world, what are you going to do with it? As you see, he's somehow slowly shifting, though not moving on his haunches around you. The shade passes. Death observes the rest of you, but of no mind. You're not really here. You're just a memory. Bob is real. Death stomps. Your little muffin man is in there, tearing his own brother's skin from his flesh, turning him into a demon. Lucifer fell this day, and he did it. Why do you think he's so broken? He's loco, that man now. He must only grow. The gardener, no longer butcher. As death kind of regards you for a moment, Bob.
I don't even know what I want to say to him.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that I need to know?
Well, that depends, mi amigo. We are not the ones you saw that day. As death starts fading from your eyes, as you realize you were dying, your proximity to the castle is killing you. Whatever's going on in there, that ceiling, is almost like with Jack Horner, that pure, raw, magical, nuclear energy is lethal.
Then I'm going to try to jump and run away.
You run, you start running. You see a tree up ahead of you, and clicks. Oh, that's the tree out. And it's open. A portal is swirling to the other side.
Gonna jump through it.
You jump through into the hands of a man. Soft bearded and you know this is Zepham internally immediately. As you and Zepham standing in Azurai City, though not named yet, merely a small town that some of Adam's kids made. The tree growing here as Zepham holds you and observes you.
Hi.
This god, very eldritch, looks at you. You are not my creation.
I am called to teach others of you, though.
Odd. You see this eldritch god stops, observes you all, observes, I'm slurring there. You are my creations. You are the beings, the creatures, changed, but mine. As he looks at you, Elizabeth, Zepham stops, and he doesn't strike you as like a god, not like the other three that Bob saw. This is a man in simple robes, very old-fashioned. Looks at you, Tulio, Miguel, Chell. Finally settles on you, Moses, and you see a strange flash of recognition. Adam, no. Of Adam. A prophet. Looks at you once again, Bob. But you are not my creation. And drops you. You fall to the ground with a harsh thud. You are not mine, therefore. You are of chaos.
He's your grandson.
Jump away. I jump away.
Jump away. Zepham doesn't follow you, simply regards you almost coldly.
Okay. I thought he was going to try and step on me.
As the god of creation doesn't like that you're not his. He didn't create you, and therefore you are of chaos. As you roll away, your mind starts repressing this soft image. You see the harsh lights as from that day, that tree that you saw so long ago, Bob. And you now think back, but you've met Uriel in the garden. He did not give you any indication of this. Gabriel has seen you. He gave no indication of this. They kept this from you. As you roll away, the last thing you hear, Moses, I am waiting. As Bob, all right, coming back. You hear Gabriel's voice pull. You are all back in the tavern. Alive. I will say, Bob, you don't know when it happened. There are tears somehow in your eyes that you quickly blink.
Yeah.
Your body now back your own. All of you completely silent as Gabriel looks. Now you know.
I'm just going to stare at Gabriel just like silently.
I
It's a
want to,
lot
as a
to
DM,
process.
are you good? That was a lot.
Oh, no, I'm good. I'm
Okay,
good.
good.
I'm just going to stare at Gabriel just
Stare.
silently and just like,
Gabriel looks at then all of you.
does he know what he just showed us?
He was there.
Was it Zepham who was waiting? Is that who said that at the end?
Zepham. That last thing before Bob.
Where are you waiting?
Yeah.
I know. Because I wasn't
I
sure.
know, right?
So, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So, is that when Zepham left and disappeared?
That was a
that
long time
was
ago.
from what you understand from Michael. Zepham disappeared around the time Moses had the whole Mount Sinai and then left the Israelites. That was like maybe a couple of years ago our time. That vision was 3,284 years ago and 3 months and 12 days. That
Yeah,
was
very
at the start of year
Yeah.
0.
Yeah, you're like 3,000 years old.
But your mind has been not your own, Bob. it was snipped away. You have very much repressed most because as much as Uriel tried, you are still of Uriel and therefore of Zephyr and have that creation within you.
Here's what I'm losing my mind over. It's like the last we saw of Lucifer, he was just like a dude, and then like whatever the Seraphim did to him was like that's when he fell. I'm like, did they like cut his grace out of him? Was him falling not actually anything he did, but like they did that to him?
Bingo.
That's
Jeez.
freaking
But
insane.
Because he rebelled against the father of Getz.
And yet it's that true falling auto happens. So it's that like, oh, you rebelled. They still like, that was a choice for them.
Gabriel will expound on that if you want. Because
Please
Gabriel's
do.
saying here,
It's a, what the heck?
Gabriel turns, you see one of the passing barmaids. This man kind of turns in his little vest, just puts the drinks he had on the table, kind of blinks, and then walks away through a bit of that, like, not true hypnosis, but like, hey, as Gabriel, alcohol is best when dealing with hard things, I've been taught.
Oh no, not again.
That was one of the first lessons Gabriel learned, actually, after the first seal and all that went down. Gabriel,
Found a liquor store.
yeah, I drank it. I stole that other shade because that is what happened to him. Gabriel
Yeah.
turns. We follow orders. What Lucifer did was not against his orders. He simply discovered free will and interpreted upon it.
Are you telling me you guys demonized him for discovering free will?
See, he leans really close to you, Tulio, across this like little. It's kind of like an Applebee's booth. Let's be honest. He leaned. I followed the orders of my father.
Yeah, no, I get you hadn't discovered free will yet, but that's still just a lot to take in.
Wait.
Was Bob Jr. with us for that whole thing?
Oh,
Okay.
good. Poor little
Okay,
thing.
I
The
was
innocence.
double checking.
Bob has been patiently waiting, just having fun, eating the little table crumbs that were here, just that like waiting for you guys to come back. Gabriel looks at you. I was the messenger. I fought in the war, but I was the messenger. Until you all. Did you send me a text? Yeah.
Don't shoot the messenger. Oh my gosh, I'm losing my mind.
How do you think you have your magics? You see, Gabriel just says, I'm not proud of what we did that day. We followed the orders, and I bound my youngest brother in chains and stripped him of his grace, using it with his sword to bind the cage where he now resides. That cage, now the seventh seal, is the last. From that cage, we then took his right hand, Cain, and made him the second. Adam's staff became third. Merlin offered fourth. Fifth came from the dragon scroll of his follower. Sixth came from the book of peace, antithesis of Eris's creation. And finally, Michael's sword. You see Gabriel now, again, kind of like how he finally showed embarrassment earlier, you see regret. A true form of regret in his eyes. We started this, and Michael wants to finish it in blood. Who wants shots? As he, but everyone be, as Michael orders shots for the table. I say order. He is just kind of like imposing a will of heaven, like your divine goal. Bring me a shot of tequila. And these poor boys are like, I guess I'm doing this. I don't
think
know what
we
this.
all like have a split second of like, ethically we probably should tell him that's not how he should use his angel powers, and yet we all need the drinks right now. I'm not gonna
Fun
say
fact,
anything.
Gabriel does not yet understand the concept of capitalism and money. No one's
Yeah.
really sat him down when we buy
I
things.
really don't care.
Yeah, right. For a dragon, it's not like, yeah, sure, take it. Gabriel brings a round of shots over. takes 3, downs him.
Gabriel, you might want to pace yourself. Just saying. I mean, last time we saw you, that one time we saw you, you were.
To be fair, that probably took a lot. Like, I assume angelic constitutions are like better than ours.
Yeah.
Those were 3 drugs of 3 jugs.
What, you did drugs?
3 jugs of 1,000-year aged elven wine.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's not what they're serving here.
I'm just now starting to feel buzzed.
Okay.
All right.
My speech is almost slurred. This is helping.
Well, that helps.
3 more.
3 more. Boom, again. It's very odd. Like, every so often a waiter's like, I'm serving table 5, puts it over, walks away and goes, I had table 5's drinks. And they, like, stop, go back to the kitchen. Like, again, they don't seem to, like, realize, like, hey, they're doing it. It's just a very much like, oh, weird.
There's like 17 glasses on.
Yeah, for sure. It's,
Table now.
Gabriel
Hey, they get free
looks at you all.
glasses.
Yeah, you have that thought.
So,
Yeah.
I just have a question.
Yeah.
Was free will not a thing at all, or was it like for humans, or was it just
I think it was.
he acted to human?
I think it was like it was a thing. He's the first one that ever acted on it. The other people may have been tempted, but they knew what to
And
do.
it's also
One of the things
more
also
of.
that August described him looking human, like he pointed out he's not got wings out and stuff, so I wonder if you hit on something with the whole acting to human.
That's true.
It's very much as Gabriel
Discovered free will and
says.
went too far with it.
Humanity, when God, again, Adam and Eve they get free will. Angels aren't supposed to have free will. They are servants of heaven. Again, it's odd that they look like humans with wings, but they're not. Their DNA is not human.
Right.
It's very not. And so Lucifer decided to act in a way with his own agency, where he technically wasn't disobeying God. Gabriel will even explain here Lucifer's crime, as ordered by Zephim, was humanity's salvation. We were informed as the Seraph that we were to oversee the world until such time as you have been told that chaos will overtake and dissolve away everything. Zephim ordered us to watch the world and select certain souls and persons worthy of salvation. Through great power, intrigue, story, and canon, Lucifer felt that unfair. He said that all of humanity deserved salvation, and not just humanity. Orc, elf, dragon, the beasts and fowl, he claimed that this world, and not just this plane of existence, the mortal plane, astral, elemental, shadow, fey, he said we deserved to fight for it all. Zephim and the 4 gods told him they did not wish to save it. Therefore, he acted upon free will. And you see, Gabriel now looks uncomfortable. As all of you passively, Gabriel's starting to act on free will too. Again, my dude is ordering shots.
Yeah.
That's probably not under Michael's orders.
Yeah.
So, can I ask a question, Gabriel?
Please.
What's gonna happen to you?
Hopefully, I have acted in a way that Michael can do not much else until I actively disobey, or he can find enough cause. But there are not enough seraph to bind and seal me like Lucifer. Zephim could return and try to bind me, but he did not bind Lucifer. He asked us to. So I believe it is because, as God of creation, he himself simply cannot destroy creation without much cause. So I act very carefully. What is it the cat said? Paw the line.
Toe the line?
What is a toe?
Don't worry about it.
Yes, but that is...
Things under feet.
you see he looks down.
Does he have toes?
He looks down, he will, like, very awkwardly in his armor,
Take off
take off shoe, put a full foot, peel off this weird like battle sock. These are toes.
Yep.
Yes, do you guys not get like basic anatomy? Like I get not knowing weird mortal
We were
stuff, but like
formed mostly for your benefit as humans and beings on the earth.
Fair.
sometimes I feel like your life sucks worse than ours.
Oh no, that's absolutely 100% true.
It does not suck because it is not sexual.
That is not with that. It's an expression.
Another party ruined them when it came to that. I will, yeah. You
That's
see,
an expression.
Gabriel says,
People say that when they mean it's bad.
it is our existence. We are servants.
Right.
You, sir, are very strange.
I've been told that by the other champions. I've also been told that I am being affected by the alcohol. I believe they told me non-normal.
Abnormal.
No, they used a different A name.
Awkward?
Yes. Awkward. But this is my first time truly interacting with mortals ever.
Well, you're doing great.
Yep.
I will drink to that, as he will raise another shot, order another round
What
of just
shot
drinks.
is this for him?
This is shot. This is shot 9. And he's already done a tankard of basic mead too, so it's like a full tank of mead, 9 shots. As he still looks very stoic, but he said, "It's hitting me now."
Just a reminder what happened last time when you saw us the day after.
Yes, I need a chaser.
Or maybe you slow down a little if you need to like not act off if all the other angels are watching you weird.
Oh,
especially
that is
how
true.
Michael's being right now.
Yeah, don't give him an excuse because
What
you're
is
like
it that
the one ally we've got up there.
Sinbad calls Michael a grade A bitch?
Yeah.
But of course, Sinbad is now Michael's vessel, so he's one to talk.
What?
What?
You think back to Michael being so happy. Sinbad had to make a deal to protect himself and his companions. He has become Michael's vessel as much as Proteus has become Lucifer's vessel.
What the?
Fun fact, these two players, without my knowledge, connived behind my back and at the same time went to different places, did different rituals, and basically Proteus went to Lucifer and said, "Will you save me and my companions if I become your vessel, and you have to protect us, and I'll help you kill Michael." Sinbad went to Michael, did the exact same thing, but in reverse, at the same time.
The best
Because I
part
started
is-
with one, and the other one's like, "Hey, while that's happening, I get 3 goats," and start drawing a diagram. I'm like,
The best
Wait.
part of this is after the session, August comes to me and he goes, "If they hadn't done that at the same time, like
It would
Michael and Lucifer would have said no." Like,
Yeah,
'cause
like,
they would have
no,
done.
it's not obvious.
like the fact that Sam and Logan colluded and somehow kept it from August long enough to pull this off in a session.
Sinbad and
was wild.
Proteus full on conned heaven and hell to protect their full party because they were running into
Yeah.
some deep water.
My question for you.
Yeah.
For the thing that I just texted you about, would I need to get seeds?
You might be able to start making them.
Are you gonna make a new Garden of Eden?
Okay, I would like to start making them.
When you start making, Gabriel will order over some food, and you can maybe pull a seed or 2 out of
Cool.
the food. Start gathering.
Alrighty.
As you get that ready, Gabriel brings over the foods and drinks, talking with you all. Right, of course, this is not all. I need to prepare you all to go back in time.
What?
What?
Again.
Yes, but all of you this time. But Merlin will help with this one.
Why do we need to go back in time?
For the Enochian amulets.
Can we talk to Merlin? Because we have questions about Morgana, who may or may not be like Matt's kid or something. Like, we just want to know more about that whole thing.
I'll bring him up to your room tonight.
Thank you.
He's almost
Alright.
finished with the other party. He has great skill over chronomancy, and therefore can use my power to put you all physically in time. We believe the Enochian amulets were lost to centuries because of the time. I believe the raccoon calls it time heist.
And was this also keeping the seals out of Michael's hands?
Exactly. One of the champions with the 4 seal now wears an Enochian amulet.
Alright.
Therefore, they're safe. Is it normal to have the world spin when you drink a lot?
Yeah, only when you drink too much.
He puts a hand to his head. Much better.
I was literally about to ask if you could do that.
Yeah. A little self-heal action.
I didn't realize I could do that the first time.
Was that a lesser restoration?
That was a greater restoration.
Could he like drop some lesser restorations on like?
Yeah, so my organs are rotting. Thank you.
Drops a 7th level greater rest.
What about on this one over here?
The thief.
And the horse.
I believe that might be a sin, but that could be the alcohol affecting me. Are you the horse or the thief?
You have no idea how tempted I was to say horse.
I'm the horse.
Just for the chaos I wanted to.
6th level mass heal. 6th level magic works. As
My
you
rib sealed.
Yep, your ribs
Thank
are
you.
healed. As Gabriel
Oh, good, I
is
can
half
breathe
healing
again.
as an angel.
Can you do it to the horse too?
He
There's the
Probably
horse.
can.
as it's very silent, but you guys see Mo's. Oh, that weird knot that was like IBS indigestion now is healed, which was actually just rotting organs. And Tulio, you can finally breathe straight.
Yes.
You see Gabriel. All right, I will prepare everyone else, but yes, prepare tonight to go back. You have to face off though in the past against the one knight that was evil. It's his house, I believe.
Mordred, because we read that in the text, right? Hannah and I.
As you
was
see
something I
Mordred,
remember.
Gabriel goes, "That's the one." Disappears, and that's where we're gonna end tonight's session.
Okay.
Thank you all so very much for
That was
playing.
basically
Thank you for
we got
listening,
Evil Knight that died.
and I will see you all next time. Bye bye.